Welcome to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge,
Hey
episode
y'all.
number 176. The first one in a while where I've actually been on the fucking ball. How about that? Oh, there's only 2 more torturous weeks left, should be. And then after that, things will finally be back to fucking normal. Both in
Maybe.
terms of both in terms of my schoolwork and in terms of COVID, because I'm getting the second shot of the vaccination on Tuesday.
Ah, nice.
Ooh.
Aha.
The day before Cinco de Mayo, I'm going to be getting a shot of the vaccine, and the next day I'm going to be having tacos.
That's not
Ju-
good.
Just be careful
I've,
not
I've been
getting too
hearing that
mixed
the
up.
second shot will put you on your ass pretty quick, so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I want to have the tacos a celebration of, return to freedom. But I do know that making this choice will result on me spending the 6th of May on the toilet.
I mean, you just need to be careful about not shooting up the tacos instead.
Just shoot the tacos directly into my veins? That sounds
Yes.
like a genius idea. I should have been having a fucking IV strapped to me for years now with tacos just being injected directly into my fucking fingers.
But it's not liquid. It's you just like crumple the freaking vacuum form, freaking shrink thing, the rubber thing that it's in the bag, and then just the crumbles of the taco enter your veins.
Yeah, I mean, most people are cowardly enough to have liquid blood, which I think makes them weak. So if I had solid blood, then that'd just make me really tough.
Yes.
It
That
makes
would
sense to me.
I think that would give me Luke Cage superpowers, I'd become bulletproof and stuff. Because
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, the blood cells they work like Sex Pistols in JoJo Part 6. You need to feed them. They need to eat.
yeah, that is actually kind of correct, I think. So
Yeah, that is correct, which is why it's even funnier. Yeah, the image.
yeah. Okay.
Or at least I
So-
think so. Whatever. I'm not smart.
Oh, I'm fucking dying over here. All right, Pink. What
Yeah.
is coming out on your channel this week?
Unfortunately, nothing, because, that's kind of ties into what I did this week, where, long story short, everything that I did didn't quite turn out the way I thought it would. So everything has been scrapped, and I'm starting over at part 1.
Okay, Eddie, what's coming out? What's coming out on your channel, brother?
On mine, the second to last episode of Ghost of Tsushima.
All right. On my channel, there is goddamn nothing coming out. I am probably gonna be busy this week. All right. On the FOS channel, what we got coming out this week is Terraria Part 20 on Monday, May 3rd. And Terraria Part 21 on Friday, May 7th. Oh boy, oh fuck, should we record something other than Terraria and Smite today?
Nah, it's fine.
Ah.
Alright.
It has become life now.
Yeah, we go through little periods. Some periods we have diverse games that we play. Then we have little periods where we're like, fuck it, just loads of Terraria and Smite.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, the entirety of 2020 was just us doing 3 playthroughs, one for each of us.
Yeah.
The entirety of 2020.
I mean, it won't be too long before we have a third one, because we'll have Dead by Daylight as well at some point soon.
It
If we can
depends.
get a fifth player, we don't need. If we can get a fifth player, we don't even need to pub it.
Yeah.
So with that said, on what's coming out on the group channel this week, Pink, what you been up to?
All right. So this week, and not a lot, honestly, I attempted to record Hades at one point. I did like an hour and maybe 30 minutes, and I thought it was all turning out so good, I was probably on my third run in, and I made it all the way up to Elysium. I was like, wow, I'm doing really good. This is gold. I'm making everything look cool. I'm keeping up on the commentary. I think I'm being funny. I can't wait for this to get finished, rendered, etc., uploaded, and I'm taking a lot of pride in this. And then I turn off the recording, and I realize, oh no! Previously, I had been tinkering with OBS, trying to figure out a decent way to capture Civilization 5, because that is at a much lower resolution than any other game I play. So somehow going into the full screen mode, it cuts off the top. Well, it doesn't cut off the top. The top, you can see the little window bar up at the top. So it's just like, that window says Civilization 5, and you can grab it and move it around and etc.
Yeah.
But it cuts off the bottom. So on the bottom of the screen, there are quite a few important buttons down there, as well as maybe important information. I don't know. But that gets cut off if I go into full screen mode. So I had to go into windowed mode. And, doing a full screen capture just isn't probably not the smartest thing to do. Because, I'm recording a giant screen with a little Civilization 5 in the middle of it. So I would have to adjust the screen capture in order to actually accurately capture it. So I figured, hey, let's just turn on window mode for this one, or window capture rather. And that one seemed to be turning out all right. But I neglected to turn it back off when I was done with it. So as I was recording Hades, the window capture was capturing a window that was not there.
I
was recording a black screen and my beautiful voice and the beautiful voice actors from Hades, and that was it.
Pink, even if you're recording Hades, you should set up window captures for that as well, because screen capture takes up more resources.
Yep.
I did not know that, but that is good to know.
I had to put in more effort there to not say resources. Fuck.
The Wii sources.
Yeah.
It also makes a much bigger file size. That's another fun fact. I very distinctly remember there are several times where I've recorded a game for like 3 hours. Like 3 hours of Terraria, right? Recorded properly through window capture is like, what, 4 or 5 gigs?
2 gigs.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when we were trying to do GTA 5 and I was leaving it on display capture to record the fucking, like, mixer playing the Xbox stream on GTA 5.
No. You didn't record the mixer. You recorded the corner of the mixer.
Yes, that is correct. But even so, the corner of the mixer still shot that recording up to like 50 gigs for like 3 hours.
Yeah, and by the way, do you know how much effort I would have to put into the videos to be like for a raw footage to be 50 gigs for like 3 hours? Because I have checked. I have made numerous tests. I need to record in lossless freaking video, legitimately source video that is not at all compressed. That's how you get 50 gigs if you actually have it properly set up. So yeah, if you're wondering, this is why I like whenever we don't record, there's days when I'm just like, oh, I feel like trying to improve our setup, and then I just spend the whole day doing test recordings and comparing file sizes and doing maths, and it sucks because I can't do maths, but I must.
I'm cool with recording in 720p, even if it's an archaic old now recording size.
It's not bad. It's better than 360.
Yeah, that's true. It's better than 16-bit.
Very true.
Yeah, I record everything in 1080 just because, I mean, I can't really do it, but like when 720 to me looks too soft. Like it's an issue. But whenever I see text in 720, it bothers me. It actively bothers me.
I should probably check to see if I can record in 1080 now, because
you have like a freaking PC that can eat mine like 5 times over. You can probably record in 4 fucking K, dude.
I'm doubtful about that.
I mean,
But
if you can, if you can, if okay, if we do the maths, you might be able to have a setup where you can record in 4K. I'm not sure if you should, but technically it should be possible.
I think I've still got it set to 720 because of the old graphics card though, which definitely could not have recorded 1080.
I don't know. I'm recording 1080 with a freaking integrated graphics card. Graphics.
Yeah, but also sometimes your computer just eats recordings.
Well, yeah.
I'll take consistency over like high quality when it works, you know?
Right.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is that because your PC is so much better than mine, it would eliminate the inconsistency.
Right,
Because the reason,
I'm not talking about that now. I'm saying why I had it set to 720 PC on 720p on the old graphics card.
yeah.
Like I'll try 1080p probably at some point. Well, if probably gonna be recording today, and if we're gonna record, we're probably gonna be recording Terraria or Smite, neither of which are particularly PC intensive. So, yeah, I could probably
Right.
Oh,
try to record.
let me tell you about PC intensive, dude. With Smite. That was funny. I tried playing that game on PC once for like 2 days, and I basically had to play the game in a mode where every character had no textures, and it was basically just a mesh and like a single color. And that ran at 15 frames when things weren't getting intense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Eddie, what did you do this week?
All right. Let's see. What did I do? I finished Shyness, the Lightning Kingdom.
Okay.
So Shyness, the Lightning Kingdom is an indie, as I found out, Kickstarter RPG made by French people that really wants to be anime.
Okay.
It is also like, what are the points that I could point out about it that I haven't done last week? Because I started playing it last week. I guess I didn't tell you, so I suppose I can repeat myself with saying that they actually tried to go with an action battle system, like it's this weird mishmash of like an arena fighter, freaking and Devil May Cry. Like they tried, you can see the effort that was put in and then the ideas, but they didn't have the budget or the talent, probably the budget honestly, to pull it off.
All right.
Otherwise, I mean the story is okay. Like I bought the game for. I actually did the maths on this because I was curious. I bought that game for like $3.30 because it was on sale, and for $3, yeah, it's not a bad game.
Yeah. When you consider it like that, yeah.
Like once again, it's a thing of like I could shit on it because it is a bit janky and like a lot of it is cliched and all that, and the voice acting isn't great for most characters. But at the same time, like it is an indie game funded by Kickstarter, and it is okay for being that. Like there's
Which
all of
is an
ambition.
achievement for being that.
Yes, yes. Like to me, this game felt like for one, the game was very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy, or at least to me it was. It seemed like it was very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy with a lot of its design decisions, and it felt like if someone took a look at 12, I think it was 12, whatever, the one on PS2,
There were several
and
on PS2.
well, yeah, but I don't remember the freaking the Zodiac Cage. That's the subtitle, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, whichever one that is.
One of the
So
MMOs?
it's like no, it wasn't the MMO one.
Ah, okay.
That was 11.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, anyway, so it's like someone took a look at that game, whichever one it is, and they went, well, yeah, but maybe let's try it with a battle system that doesn't suck ass.
Heh.
And they tried. They most certainly tried.
That
But
gets them a gold star.
yeah, and it just feels like this game, feels like, for one, the ending sets up a sequel because, well, yeah, 12 is a very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 13 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 14 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 15 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 16 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 17 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 18 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 19 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 20 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 21 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 22 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 23 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 24 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 25 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 26 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 27 is also very obviously inspired by Final Fantasy. 28 is also very ob because the whole game feels like the Midgard part in freaking Final Fantasy VII. Like this is someone's attempt at making Final Fantasy game, and it ends up feeling like the tutorial part of Final Fantasy VII, which is good, I guess. I mean, they got close. That means that they got close. I mean, to be fair, the tutorial to Final Fantasy VII, the original release, is like 20 hours. So it's not like it's a particularly like short game. Although I think completed it in around 20. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
funny.
Congrats, you've now learned it.
Yes. But yeah, there's also like secrets that you can only interact with if you like it has ideas like freaking what elements your character is well acquainted with. It depends on how you use them. So if you give them like earth magic, then they will be better earth users after a while if you use the magic long enough and stuff like that, which is a nice idea, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of like it's a perfectly mediocre game. And that's what I was looking for, kind of, because like I've been feeling like playing an old janky like freaking PS2 AA game, and those aren't made anymore, you know. Usually, anyway. So yeah, I had my fun with it.
All right.
Then what else? Well, obviously I played a lot of Smite, as usual.
Okay. I assume everyone and their mother is playing Gilgamesh right now.
Yes. Gilgamesh is very annoying to fight, not because of anything Gilgamesh does, but because of team comps. Like Gilgamesh, I don't know if yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
Like the thing with Gilgamesh is that he legitimately has broken shit in his kit, and I don't mean that in a way that he's overpowered. I mean technically it fits the description, but that's not the biggest issue with his kit. The biggest issue with his kit is that apparently they didn't there's some interactions that don't work, and so like if you drop kick people into Yemoja's launcher, then they just whenever they go through whenever they go next to people, they get hit until they die and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So he's a new character that's buggy as fuck. Okay.
Yes. That, and also like the whole game plan around him is just, well, it's Odin. The whole game plan is Odin. He just jumps in, ult. All right, you can't leave now, and then all of the AOE's just spawn at your feet, and you're dead.
Does he have tools he can use besides Bird Bomb and Arena?
Yeah, his whole kit is very good. He's a very suppressive character. Like he can be very what's the word I'm looking for? Shit. I don't remember. Whatever. He's not fun to fight. I guess is the way to put it. Like you can't really box with him because his buff is too good. Well, if he's built well anyway. But yeah, like you can't really box with him. You can't really like attack him from behind because he has his leap, and also his ring. And then what is his three?
His
Is
three
his
is his leap.
Oh, what is his two then?
That's the dropkick. His one is the block.
Right. Yeah, that's the one one I forgot. Yeah, the dropkick is a very very good like divide and conquer tool. You just kick someone out and then the freaking wolves come and eat them up. And if they don't,
hit
if you
him
kick
with the
them
Marvel vs. Capcom snapback.
yes, and then, and then on the off chance that they hit a wall, they are just dead.
Oh,
Like yeah, the stun takes so long to get out of that if you get hit by a dropkick into a wall, you're pretty much dead.
okay.
Like unless Gilgamesh is fighting like your entire team alone, you're probably dead. And even then, you might be dead.
Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting. Well, I mean,
oppressive. That's the word.
to me, like, the fact that he does things other than just Bird Bomb and Arena means that he's different enough from Odin for me.
I mean, I'm not complaining that he's like Odin. I liked Odin. Like, I'm not complaining about his kid being similar to Odin. I'm just saying that most of the team compositions that whenever I try to play against people are freaking Gilgamesh and 4 mages with AoE ults, and it's rough.
To be fair, the same things could still happen with Ganesh or Odin, you know?
Yeah,
The
but
obvious one is Poseidon, of course.
they're not in vogue. Like that's the big difference between Gilgamesh and Odin and Ganesh. And like
But
once again, that's the thing. Like I'm not saying that Gilgamesh is OP because of freaking team compositions. I'm saying the team comps make him a pain in the ass to fight, but I don't know if he's OP.
yeah, it's just a situation of like, people are doing this play that they've always been able to do, but now it's popular.
Yeah. Like
Like,
imagine if freaking if Ao Kwang got released again, but now he has better tools basically. Like Ao Kwang spawns with 2.5 attack speed and like 150% lifesteal. And that's his level 1. And like that yeah.
what I wanted to say was just like, well, at least there's a new character who inspires teamwork instead of fucking diving into the enemy team.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's sometimes you get someone who plays like Wukong or so like someone who obviously didn't play Odin but really wants to play Gilgamesh because Gilgamesh is cool right now. And because like they have no prior experience, they're just like, okay, so I jump in and then I solo the entire enemy team and then I leave, and they don't. And usually they're on your team.
I mean,
I had a very funny Gilgamesh. Actually, I had 2, but yeah. The second one is funnier, so I'll talk about them instead. So I had this funny Gilgamesh who insta-locked on versus AI, proceeded to dive on the enemy team, somehow die, and then quit the game. Like, wow.
I mean that's the Smite classic there. That's almost like
Yeah.
that's the actual hat trick.
Like, you know, I don't know. Wait until you're like level 4 or 5 until you dive on the enemy team, so you can at least run away with the freaking ult. Maybe.
No, I'm already the best. I
True.
don't need to learn.
So yeah, that like they're nerfing Gilgamesh already, and like the thing is,
Are
I
they?
haven't. Yeah. They announced it. They're he's getting nerfed in the next quick fix, and then he's also getting nerfed again whenever they release the new battle ass.
What are they changing about him?
Just damage numbers, from what I can tell.
Interesting.
Yeah, which like I'll
Now
say
when
the
he
same
drops
thing
kick
about.
people, now when he drop kicks people, he bounces off of them.
Yeah.
The knockback effect now applies to him.
They're reworking Gilgamesh, so all of his kit is now drop kicks. But they're all different versions. Like they keep the front drop kick like he has now. They give him a proper one. They give him a single leg one, and then they give him a freaking like a moonstomp version.
He's actually keeping all the same moves gameplay wise. They're just changing the animations.
Yeah.
The arena is just him drop kicking the floor, and it creates a crater.
He drop kicks arena, the actual map, off of the screen, and then you're fighting in the void.
Well, no, if you're fighting on a map other than arena, he jumps off the map and then drop kicks arena onto you.
Yeah. and then the Final Fantasy 17 pops up because she's summoning Meteor. Anyway, so yeah, they're also they haven't really revealed it yet, but signs point to the new god being I don't remember which pantheon it's from. Like basically just a sea monster that's like water with teeth.
So
there are a lot of sea monsters like water with teeth.
That's the Charybdis, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Because wasn't like the Charybdis, as described in the original Greek myth, basically the fucking sand pit monster from Star Wars, but with water?
Yeah, that's all like it.
Yeah.
That's all like water fountain or whatever.
Yeah. That'd be funny if like you play a character and it's just a moving hole.
It's that shark character from Yugen.
Yeah. Like they just need to not step on you.
Yeah. People are saying that from the abilities described, that character might be a magical hunter.
I mean, I
So like,
guess.
Like Sylvanas?
no, not like Sylvanas, like Kronos. Sylvanas is too OP.
You're not wrong.
I had a match today, which was really funny because the people with the most experience, at least judging by the character reps, was me as Sylvanas, and there was another Agni, with a couple of reps on Agni. And I, by the end of the game, I had one less kill than Agni, and the rest,
Well,
like I really
that's because Agni played Guardian, you fool.
no. The thing is, I played Guardian, but our friendly team
Damn
just
it, I
couldn't
was
secure.
joking.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing that I don't understand is how I got that many kills while actually like building Guardian for real.
Ha!
Because our friendly team, I guess, wasn't really good at securing kills, but was really good at setting them up. So whenever people started running away, they wouldn't be able to chase them. But because I always position myself or at least try to position myself to hit Sylvanas' too, so it hits both the enemy team and my team. Well, most of the people that I can. People would just start running away and then drop. And that's how you play Hunter Sylvanas. War crimes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then I also watched a couple of shows this week,
All
which is
right.
quite
Why would you do
unusual.
that?
Well, I felt like breaking our oath, so you can come to my place and then break my neck, and then I can resurrect like 20 years from now.
Oh, that's fine.
So yeah. For one, I guess I'll start with that one because it is the shortest. So I watched whatever's so far out of the new remake of Shaman King.
Okay.
It is just Shaman King. Like, I didn't read the manga because I don't care, frankly. But
Eh.
so I can't compare quite how much the old anime and the new one fares to being a freaking adaptation. But judging by the fact that in every episode I knew what would happen down to the fights, like genuinely to the same scenes, I've got to assume that the reason they're remaking this is because at some point the manga ran out
Eh.
and they're trying to rectify that. Because that's usually what happens with some of these, like Fullmetal Alchemist did this as well. With the normal show heading off into a different direction because they needed a show, but the manga was still getting made. And then after it wrapped up, we got Brotherhood, which is a faithful adaptation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Shaman King. It's okay. It is a show.
All right.
Yo is kind of a different like shonen protagonist from the ones you usually see. I guess I have to compliment that. Because, when you think of shonen protagonists, you think of like Naruto and Goku, like people who are freaking full of energy and like always want to fight and shit like that. And Yo's not. Like, Yo doesn't care. And technically that's because his job requires him to not care, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming neither of you watched the original show either.
No, I have no idea what it is.
Yep.
It's
You've been describing it this whole time, and I've been like, "What the fuck?"
all right. Shaman King is a show. It's a shonen show where people, well, shamans, people who can like interact with the dead, get possessed so that they can fight, and then everybody has like real people stands, pretty much. Like one of the characters' freaking stand is Bruce Lee.
I like it.
Okay.
I mean, I guess they didn't name him to something different, but they made it so obvious that that is Bruce Lee. Anyway, so yeah, like that's its thing. It's that like freaking shamans can just basically switch out their ghosts like Pokemon, or I guess more. No, I don't remember. I was going to say it's more like Digimon Frontier, but I don't remember if Digimon Frontier had a thing where they could turn into different Digimon. They just turned into their own, which was a take. Frontier was my favorite Digimon show, to be fair.
I am not keeping track of any of this. I am out of my
Nice.
fucking knowledge pool right here.
Yeah, like
I
this
barely
is
knew Pokemon.
this is when I realized that despite me only having watched like 15 freaking anime shows, I'm still the weeb.
Comparatively, yeah, because I don't know. Has Alex watched any?
Well, when I was a kid, I watched like 1 or 2 episodes of Dragon Ball, as much One Piece as I could, but that was not too popular back then. Like, I want to say the first couple episodes of Naruto, up until Gaara was the main villain, I think. Which, yeah, that didn't last long. And also, as a kid, I thought Bobo was fucking hysterical, which I don't know how I'd react now. And other than that, when Attack on Titan was first all the rage, I binged the first season on Netflix, and that's it. That's it for me with anime.
Aha.
So you watched the stuff that I didn't, because One Piece never reached over here, so I didn't watch One Piece, and even if it aired, I probably wouldn't have cared just because pirates, honestly.
Pirates are not a very big part of One Piece.
I mean, that's cool. But yeah.
Yeah, that's your reaction. It's cool that there aren't any pirates here.
Yeah.
Addy, you need to restart your fucking... You need to now, from all your reviews you do on your channel, going forward, every review needs to feature, at some point, a diagnosis on whether it features pirates or not.
I mean, if I ever started freaking writing reviews again, and yeah, whatever. If I ever make reviews again, then yeah, I'll include it, I guess.
Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, so that, and like I watched stuff from like I don't know. I watched stuff from like the mid 90s to the end of the 2000s, more or less. And then I quit around 2016 or something. So anything after that, I'm mostly unaware of. Because, yeah, the Veep culture. Like, I like anime. I like Japan. But, like, no. Like, I'm not really looking into buying myself a Dakimakura. Thank you very much. But, yeah, so. That I also did a complete rewatch of Soul Eater, keeping things on the freaking the dead people team, I guess.
That was quick.
Yeah. And Soul Eater is yet another shonen. Gee.
Yeah.
It's like I like it's almost like I like the genre or something. But yeah, Soul Eater was my favorite shonen for a long while because it had like I just really liked everything about it, and more like I don't know if it's my favorite shonen still, but I do actually like I do still like it a lot. There are some parts of it that aged bad, but if you don't mind the like juvenile humor that it has, and like there's a sort of tonal whiplash that it likes to do a lot, and so if you can't handle that, then you probably won't like the show either. But I find it fucking funny, so
Okay.
because it's like I don't know, I don't remember any specific scenes, but basically how the show works is that two characters can have like a big epic showdown that is very serious and played as serious, and then in the middle we see like a bystander character who we know say something, and then both of the characters shout him down and then continue fighting, stuff like that.
Okay.
So there's and they do that in a lot of scenes, so that's why I'm saying that some people might dislike it, because it cuts the tension up a lot, but it like they do it so much I feel like it's their thing. Like you don't have to like it, but that's their thing that they decided to do.
there's a rule that if you repeat a joke 3 times, it's not funny. But then if you repeat a joke 5 times, it becomes a running gag, and now it's funny again.
Yeah. And also like I forgot how much of this freaking show inspired my aesthetic, because like I don't know how to properly put the freaking aesthetic of the whole show, but it's like early to mid 2000s urban freaking like gothic punk. I don't fucking know. Like there's not really any character designs that I particularly dislike. There are some small things that I don't like, but usually they fit the character well enough. And the actual world design is so good that I don't think I've seen anyone do better. And I'm not saying that I think the world is like very well fleshed out or anything. I'm literally saying the world looks so nice. Like it is so stylized in such a way that I like it a lot. Like the sun and the moon. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're just coughing up
Yeah,
along.
I'm just dying.
All right.
No big deal.
The freaking Rockstar enabled the super realism, so now W also has tuberculosis.
Sure. I'm gonna
But
need
yeah.
to get more money, though.
Let me see if I can find a quick picture. Yes, just the portmanteau it all.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a picture that shows the overall style. I don't know. Whatever. But basically, Soul Eater is a show about people who
It
can turn
is?
into weapons and the people wielding them, and how like Death, the Grim Reaper, is teaching them to fight the demon god, who they don't even know exists for like half of the show. But hey, it's all right. They don't need to.
Yeah.
They don't need to.
Every anime always starts off with, let's fight a relatively small threat. Like, hey, we've got a demon that's just going around eating people's souls. Let's fight it. And then every anime also ends with, let's fight God.
Yeah. I mean, it does actually have a weird twist. I misremembered the ending. For the longest time, I didn't rewatch this show because I thought the ending. Anyway, I thought the ending sucked ass. And on rewatch, I actually know like there was a point, a specific point that I remembered being the thing that made me dislike it. And then on the rewatch, I noticed that there's like under 10 minutes after that.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was cool. But yeah, let's see what I can go into without spoiling too much. Yeah, whatever.
Music time.
Whatever. I can spoil shit. This show came out in like 2009. I think it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm not in any rush to watch it. Are you, Pink?
Probably not. Probably not, if I'm being completely honest.
But yeah, so the reason the final fight made I like how the final fight went now is that for the longest time I remember there being a thing where the show is actually about like three groups of people, three teams, and everyone gets knocked out aside from one character who is basically the actual proper protagonist of the story.
Okay.
And she's like the weapon master of the character who's the show named after.
Okay.
And everybody else is knocked out aside from her. And then there's the big reveal that she's actually a weapon too, but she doesn't know it. And she gets unconscious, and she starts fighting other weapon on her own. And it looks like she might win. And I didn't like that because it felt like jumping the shark, because a lot of the show is already focused on her, and like they didn't do a really good thing to set up. They didn't do a good job setting up that twist to work, and that's how I remembered it. And
So-
they didn't set that twist up because it wasn't the twist. The twist is that doesn't work. That is literally the thing, that she never finds out that she's a weapon and she's beaten, and then after that, when she wakes back up again, she beats God. Well, the demon god, who is like basically a big he's basically paranoia personified. So she beats the demon god by showing him courage, and he explodes from courage. And like the overall theming of the show is a lot like it's centered a lot on like mental health, from what I can tell. Because morals. It is a show aimed at like 12-year-old boys, so you need the morals
Mm-hmm.
I kind
next to
of
the
like.
booba. Yeah,
I kind of like when they have villains that are concepts and die from getting exposed to the opposite of that concept.
yeah. Like that's the thing that's why I'm saying that I actually like the ending now, because it makes like I still don't know how I feel about her being a weapon, but they didn't use that to beat the actual character. They used the opposite of the personification to beat it, and it worked thematically. So hey,
Yeah.
it's fine. And there's also like pretty good analogs for paranoia and depression in the show overall.
All right.
So yeah, like once again, there's some parts of it that didn't age too well, like like one character design for a one-off character, but
Heh. They can't all be bangers, I guess.
yeah. And then the last thing I watched this week was a show that I have seen a lot of praise to, but I put off for a while for a reason that I will I guess going into after I freaking reveal what it is. But I watched whatever is out at the entirety of the first and second seasons of Beastars.
Beastars, I have heard that.
Beastars Beastars is a furry romance show. That's what I was told, at least.
Oh, if you would have told me the title Beastars, I would have assumed it was like a modern day, like, oh, what's the show with Lion-O? Like, they're all cat people, but it's an 80s
Thundercats.
Thundercats, yes, I would have told you that sounds like a modern day Thundercats.
Yeah, Beastars. I got introduced to Beastars through two ways. One was the Super Best Friends Reddit, where people
Yeah,
posted
that's
about
where
it.
I've heard about it from.
Yeah,
Uh-oh,
but
shit.
on there, I got the idea that it is a furry romance show, which like I watch romance shows. I watched all of Lovely Complex. It's honestly one of my favorite shows, probably. Like the reason I don't watch many more romance shows is because Lovely Complex was too good.
Okay.
Most of the ones I've seen can't compare, so I don't bother.
Your heart will go on, though.
Yes. But yeah, so that, and then the other one was the team. The team to the first season of Beastars is a bop. It is very good.
Okay.
And I will in fact throw it up on the Discord so Pink can listen to it.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Thanks, Google. So sometimes when I get really heavy paranoia, I'm like get really freaked out about freaking information about me constantly being harvested. But I just wrote in the title for this song, and YouTube just knew that I meant the furry show one, and not the Motley Crue song.
Eh.
But yeah. So Beastars.
When does the song start?
Oh, I don't freaking know. I let me find
Good
a freaking
question.
version of it that starts faster. Yeah, there you go. This is the intro to the show instead. That's when I know it starts. Yes. So question. Pink listens to that.
Oh, it's swanky.
Yeah. It's swing rap. I love it.
Every
So yeah, W, you
music,
had a
every
question?
music that you enjoy, Addy, is swing something.
I mean, no, I just have my taste. Like I am in this weird spot
This
where most
wasn't
of the
an
music.
insult, by the way. It was just an observation.
Yeah, I know. But I did notice that I am in this weird spot where the most of the things I listen to are like freaking some flavor of rock or metal, swing, or like electronic.
Heh.
I would describe my musical taste as a lot of 80s and schizophrenic.
Ah,
Heh.
nice.
I'd say I'm not picky. Except country. Country's a hard no with an exception for like I haven't done much research into like I guess do they call it outlaw country, the really old stuff?
I don't
Nope.
know. It's stupid
Like,
either way.
like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, that's like the only country I can enjoy. This modern day
I enjoy
stuff,
no country.
For old man.
I think
No
we've
country
had
for
this.
old men or old countries.
Damn it! There's no country for young men either. What? So
Yeah.
oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was thinking I was just gonna start insulting Pink there, but
Impossible.
So yeah.
no, very possible actually.
So yeah, I put this show off for a while, partially like mainly it was a thing of I don't know why exactly, but like I still put off a lot of stuff that I might enjoy just because I'm like, oh well, you know, I don't want people to judge me for some reason, even though like it no one will judge me. Like
You gotta watch out for the psychics peeling apart your mind, though. That's
yeah, I mean. You joke, but I like when things get very bad in my head. I get very close to that for some reason. I don't like it, but it happens.
you gotta watch out just in case you run into the fucking X-Men.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. I'm going to step out for
All
a
right.
minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Professor Xavier's calling him.
He's Professor Xavier. He's coming to my house.
Yeah.
No, he's leaving the van outside of my house, so that I won't notice. Anyway, so yeah. So I was led to believe that this show is a romance show that turns into a shonen by like the third season or something, and it ruins the whole show. So, wrong.
Heh.
It is a slice of life, a romance show that is also a shonen at the same time, and it pulls it off somehow.
Okay.
I don't know how. Let's see what I can freaking point out that I particularly liked. There are so many things that I liked about this show. I'm gonna be honest.
Heh.
So first things first. I guess let's start with the actual premise. So the premise of the show is anthropomorphic animal people live in a world where like meat consumption has been outlawed, and they're trying to make carnivores and herbivores live together in peace. And it's hard because sometimes carnivores can't hold themselves back, and they just eat herbivores.
I see.
And the show starts out with one of the people who go. I actually think it's a classmate, or no, it's a clubmate. One of the clubmates of the protagonist getting eaten by a mysterious person. Well, person, and
Oh.
and
No,
the
continue.
show.
That wasn't an interrupting just a surprised
All right. So
I gotta say, this is sounding a lot like Twilight already.
So yeah, one of the classmates is eaten, and it's a whodunit murder mystery a bit, but it's also a lot about the characters and their relationships and how that works out. The whodunit get like on around the second half of season 1, the whodunit gets put a bit on the back burner, and then season 2 reveals why that is.
Did you say somebody got eaten?
Yes.
What the heck?
Because this show is about anthropomorphic animal people who are living in a
without abrupt violence.
yeah. Who are living in a world where like meat consumption has been outlawed, and they're trying to make herbivores and carnivores live together in peace. But sometimes things don't go quite right.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a pretty complex situation.
But yeah, so there's all of racial analogs that you can pull with this show. With
Japan's not racist.
What's not racist? You cut out.
Japan.
Yeah. I mean, just
Yeah,
overall,
just
like
ask a
the
Chinese.
yeah, yeah. Like there's because of the like of the characters being animals. There's like you can pull like, racial analogs with just the carnivores and the herbivores, or you can pull racial analogs between how like different species act and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I found it interesting. The protagonist of the show is a 17 whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
He's a wolf by the name of Legoshi, who is basically like I was really surprised once I actually found out about how this character works because he's basically me if I wasn't asexual, and I am worried about the amount of fucking losers there are that this happened.
You've lost me.
Where where did I lose you,
You just said the
Alex?
amount of losers and then stopped like the sentence right there.
Oh great, Discord is cutting me off. Give me a sec. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that right now. Once I figure out where they put the voice thing. Yeah. Um, yes, don't automatically do that. It's bad when you do that. So I shouldn't be cut off anymore. So the protagonist, the protagonist, I find him interesting because uh he is basically me if I wasn't asexual, and I am worried about the amount of fucking losers there are that this happened. And one of the biggest things of the show, one of the main conflict of the show, aside from the guy getting eaten, is that I feel like the freaking like my me
One of the biggest
breathing getting
conflicts of the show, aside from the cannibalism,
yes. Well, it's not really cannibalism, but it is still it's a devouring is what they call it.
I think sentient on sentient eating is cannibalism. I don't care.
Yeah, true. Yeah, now that you think about it, wait. Now that I think about it, they do actually point that out in the show in season 2. But yeah, so one of the other things is that Legoshi falls in love with a bunny due to circumstances, and obviously people don't really like that because interspecies relationship, and that's also a thing. But since this is
Of
also
course, the hot girl furry is a bunny. God damn it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess she's at least a dwarf bunny. I don't know. um,
I don't know
out,
if that does
out,
improve
out
it.
of out of all of the freaking out of all of the woodland animals that I like, which are actually like 3, bunny is not one of them. Uh, so yeah,
Let's move away from this.
no, no. Instead, I'm gonna go in even deeper.
No, you won't.
But yeah, the characters are actually very interesting. Like or at least I found them very interesting. Their reasons for doing certain things, and I don't know how much I can go into without spoiling stuff because the last episode of season 2 came out a month ago.
Oh.
So
So what you're
yeah,
telling me is it's an ancient TV show.
yes,
They were watching this in fucking Babylonian times.
yes, definitely. I hmm. Like there is a lot of interesting things that the show tackles in my opinion, like the racial analogs that you can pull from the different relationships of the species, and how well how do I say things? I don't know. I was never trained in this, but yeah,
These strange
um,
arts.
the marital arts. So yeah, one of the other things I guess I'll go ahead and because that's less of a spoiler I suppose is that the 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 bunny is basically the school bicycle
Oh.
for half of the first season, and that has plot relevance. and all and like a big reason that is very important to her character.
Okay.
Like genuinely, this show, like, I started watching this, going like, oh well, I'll watch like an episode. Decided it's just like very low grade furry bait, and then I'll just like be like, hey, I watched Beastars, I gave it a chance. But it actually genuinely is like a good show under the furry if you don't like it even.
Under the furry.
That that's a distinction to be made, I guess. I don't know, but like to
What
keep
part of the
keep
furry do you
things.
need to lift up to check?
Yes. Look, you don't need to lift up the furry after the freaking after the first interaction between the bunny and the wolf. Wolf is the bunny trying to suck his dick, and him going, oh no, wait,
Oh.
no, don't, because they don't
straight
even know each other.
Straight for the juggler, huh?
Yeah,
Oh
stay for
boy,
the juggalo.
okay.
Yeah,
Now I get why the Super Best Friends subreddit was into this. Those guys are a bunch of fucking degenerates.
I mean, there's a surprisingly small amount of degeneracy in this show, considering some of the themes it deals with.
I guess
Like-
so. That, relatively speaking, perhaps, but when you
I
don't
don't-
speak in terms of relativism.
I don't know. The thing is, whenever I think of like degenerate shows in anime, I think of like freaking High School of the Dead and stuff like that. Which, like, that's stuff that I have heard about, or Bible Black. That's another one. But like that's stuff that I just heard about being basically just straight up porn. And I'm pretty sure Bible Black is just straight up porn. Like it's not even trying to hide it. But yeah, like this like. The way this handles sexual stuff seems like it's like under Game of Thrones level from what I hear, basically. Like there's censored nudity sometimes, and like they allude to sex happening. Like maybe like they allude to the fact that sex happens in the world, but like I haven't like there haven't actually been anything that would be bad.
Okay. Game of Thrones does very much show on-screen sex, I should note.
Yeah, that's why I said it's under Game of Thrones levels.
Oh, okay, under Game of Thrones. Okay, when you said that, I thought like you meant like it should be filed under Game of Thrones levels, right? Because I was about to say, I think I've told you guys about that scene where poor...
Yes, you did.
There could not be a more awkward sex scene to film.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whose position was worse.
Yes. So. I was going to say, oh yeah. Okay, spoiler territory for the show, but there was some interesting character developments in season 2 that I actually wanted to point out because I thought that might make y'all interested a bit. Because there's a character who goes from being among the well, he remains among the important parts of the cast, but at the same time he leaves the rest of the characters alone to go be freaking Kazuma Kiryu in season 2. And then yeah, that's an interesting thing to set up, especially since I guess it's not that much of a spoiler if I just say that, whatever. So the thing there to make it interesting is that the Yakuza is made up of lions, and the person who leaves is a herbivore, and the herbivore will lead the lion Yakuza who eat meat, and it's a whole issue there as well.
Well, I mean, it can happen.
Yeah, and then also Legoshi becomes the Punisher for carnivores who ate herbivores.
Okay, this show sounds like it takes a fucking turn in season 2.
Yeah, I mean it slowly builds up to it, and then season 2 happens, and all of that goes down. And yeah, season 3 is gonna be very very interesting because oh yeah, oh boy, I'm going to spoil the biggest thing. So yeah, if you don't want to get spoiled for Beastars season 2, leave now probably. But so um there is a very important character piece where one of the characters, the character who ends up being the leader of the Lion Yakuza, was actually like sold on the black market for meat, and because of that, he doesn't like his one of his legs because that's where he was stamped, and the stamp is still on his leg. And
Boy, that's a
circumstances,
fucking allegory right there.
yeah. The show is full of shit like that, and I like it. It like to me it handled them okay. Well, I don't do enough research to be able to freaking like I don't do enough research into actual anthropology to be able to draw the things close enough for me to know if it handled them well or not. But to me, it seemed okay at least. But yeah, so that and there is this moment in the end where because of his girlfriend being a freaking bunny, obviously Legoshi doesn't want to eat meat, but everybody else seems to be eating meat despite it being outlawed. And uh, plot developments happen, and the character basically that makes Legoshi eat his food to be able to beat the antagonist of the season, which doesn't work. And both of them go to jail, both the antagonist and Legoshi.
Okay.
Yeah, like I liked it. Well, okay, I didn't like how the power up was wasted, because the reason it didn't work wasn't because it just straight up didn't work. It was because Legoshi is not the type of guy to actually like fight people properly unless he's really mad. So like even though he's basically on steroids, he's like, yo dude, let's talk it out. And then because of that, where season 2 leaves off is Legoshi was expelled out of the school, and will now have to freaking, and obviously because of Japan, now he can get like he won't be accepted into another school, another proper school, and he won't really get a good job. So the thing with season 3 will be like him trying to get his life together, I guess, or something like that. It seems very interesting.
Okay.
The things they've set up. So yeah, like Beastars is an actually pretty good show, all things considered. I do recommend it.
All right.
And that's all I've done.
Okay. On my end, well, it's been 2 weeks, so yeah, it's been a while. I've had some time to do some things. So, oh shit. So, first thing I want to say is I have watched through both the entirety of WandaVision. There we go. WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Ah, very good.
So, neither of them are perfect, that's for certain. I will say that... Oh, excuse me. I will say that I did not get the issues everyone had with WandaVision's finale. It seemed fine to me. I thought it was really, really cute that WandaVision did not just stick with 1950s sitcom, but it evolves with every episode. Pink, did you watch all of WandaVision?
I definitely missed out on a bunch of episodes. So,
Okay.
but talk freely about it because I don't care about the spoilers. I've already seen the beginning and the end. Well, actually, I haven't seen the beginning. I've seen the end, so I know what happens. I know the plot.
Okay, so yeah, just assume spoilers for WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier going forward. So, yeah, they're finally going in on Wanda, which I am very happy to see, because I remember a few years back telling my family, like, oh yeah, Wanda's the strongest Avenger. And they're all like, what? She just moves shit with her brain. Like, why does that make her the strongest? And Infinity War started to play with the idea of showing that. right? Because she's the only one that makes Thanos go, oh, fucking shit, right?
Right.
But this series, yeah, WandaVision was finally the one where, like, when my parents saw it, they were like, oh, yeah, Wanda's the strongest Avenger. That it's funny. It's a really funny thing with these TV shows is that they finally are giving time to these characters who were just kind of side background, who gives a shit characters.
Mm-hmm.
And Wanda's like gotten one scene for every movie she's been in, and other than that, been kind of a side act to Tony and Steve and so on.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to see them not only finally get to actually give Wanda her, like, well, I guess 10 hours in the limelight, but they're also actually genuinely going for it with Wanda losing it. Because I kind of figured when they did Wanda losing it, they'd take a bit of a more sympathetic angle. And I guess they have done a more sympathetic angle because she hasn't raped Wonder Man yet. But, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I do remember, though, 2 weeks ago, I said to Ted, while I was talking with Ted about comic books in one of the forum threads, I did specifically mention, man, it seems like male superheroes get raped a lot in comic books. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Anyways, so, yeah, Wanda's not gone that far off the deep end. She's still sympathetic. She's not Okay, no, she has actively ruined several people's lives, but she's not ruined the lives of anyone we care about.
Yeah, so, everyone else will get over it. They'll be fine. Walk it off. Walk it off.
Those, like, 300 people in Westview, oh, they'll get over it.
It'll be fine. Trust me.
So, yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like how it was a very action-heavy finale and how it ends with a very CG-heavy battle between her and Agatha, but I was like, that's, to me that seemed fine, because the moment that it's kind of like a Superman story, right, where you have to introduce something to hold them back for most of the story, but then once that thing that's holding them back is gone, then it's like, okay, well, here we really go. Like, I mean, I don't think people would throw the same criticism at, say, For the Man Who Has Everything, right? The classic storyline where Mongol sticks the fucking dream thing on Superman's chest, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as that thing comes off, Superman kicks Mongol's ass, and it's badass,
Yeah.
And I definitely enjoyed the ending there, showing Wanda almost kind of gets the same ending in WandaVision that Thanos does in Infinity War. Where,
Yeah.
Not only does she get away with doing it all, it ends with her on the porch of a fucking house enjoying herself, but also kind of leaving it kind of ominous, like, oh boy, yeah, this isn't going to go well.
Yep.
And I have to wonder what they're doing with White Vision. Poor fucking Paul Bettany. I have to say that every time, but poor fucking Paul Bettany.
He's died like 5 times now.
13 years ago, he signed up for a voice role. And now he has to actually show up and get done up in makeup
What a ripoff.
in a CG suit. Like, I think he said as much in an interview. Like, I did not sign up for all this. I signed up for voice roles, and now I have to actually show up to work. With that said, Vision is fucking great in WandaVision. He is one of the best parts of the show.
Absolutely.
It's actually like comic book Vision, Like,
yeah.
It's the classic thing. It's the classic thing with Vision to me is Vision's one of those characters that there are a certain list of comic book characters that always are guaranteed to turn evil at some point. Jean Grey, Raven, Vision. And I can take it with Jean Grey because that's kind of part of the idea of the Phoenix is that she just straight up can't control it. But I've never liked Vision always turning evil. Because, I know that he was made by Ultron and all that, but I don't know. I've always liked Vision being, even though he's a robot, he's more human than most of the Avengers,
Yeah, I agree with that. Vision. To top that off, can you even name a single good story where Vision actually turns heel? Because I cannot. I feel like it has never worked, despite all the times they may have tried it. Vision is always at his best as a face, and any attempts to undo that, they always fall flat to me.
Well, I didn't read the entirety of it. I only read the plot summary, but the comic where he tries to make a family, he does at the end get a little rampage after the Avengers screwed up and let Victor loose on his family, and Victor killed most of them. But in that case, it's arguable whether that's really a heel turn, so much as it was, well, the Avengers kind of fucking deserved Vision kicking their asses.
Yeah.
It's kind of like World War Hulk, you know, where it's like, well, is that really a heel turn for Hulk, or is it just that the Illuminati deserved it?
Nah, that was a heel turn for Hulk. Nobody likes Hulk. Worst character.
I'll never get mad about World War Hulk because it's still got one of my all-time favorite lines in comic books. I don't know if I've ever told you guys about it. I might have told Addie about it, but I don't think I've told you about it, Pink. You've probably read World War Hulk, haven't you?
I might have. I remember the Planet Hulk more than I do World War Hulk. I just kind of skimmed through World War Hulk.
Yeah, funny. Marvel also remembers Planet Hulk better than they remember World War Hulk.
This is also true.
But one of my favorite lines in all comic books is when Hulk fights the X-Men. And what's her face? M, because Marvel was trying to hype her up like crazy back then. She comes down to fight Hulk. And she says, like, good luck bringing me on, Hulk. I'm invincible. And then Hulk just football punts her into the skyline and says, go be invincible in New Jersey. It's like when Superman has to deal with something that's genuinely unkillable, so he just throws it in the sun. Like, yeah, go away. Come back later at a more convenient time, please.
Eventually, his car stops thinking.
Yeah. Well, the real trouble is when throwing them in the sun just pisses him off. That's when you know you're in trouble. He just comes back on fire. You've given him a buff.
No, the real problems start happening when he has to throw the sun into the sun.
Yeah. There may or may not have been a villain where he had to do that. Or, well, he probably didn't, but, you know.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple comics where Superman's throwing himself into the sun.
He does the shadow clone jutsu and then just freaking eats himself into the sun.
Yeah. Pretty well. Anyways, yeah, WandaVision. Oh, boy, is it obvious. Oh, what the... Oh, my mic just went fucking nuts.
Oh, nice.
But
okay,
why?
for a second there, like, my maximum amount of decibels just... Okay, that was weird. That's probably going to sound terrible on recording. Fascinating. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. For the one person watching this.
For me, I'm the one person.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy the ear rape, Patty. So...
Look, you could at least take me out to dinner first, but yeah.
It's the dank memes. Don't you enjoy dank memes? So, WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier and Endgame and Hawkeye. Boy, is it fucking obvious they're setting up Young Avengers.
Yep.
Like, it's like 4 Marvel projects in a row. Oh, hey, guess what? One of the Young Avengers debuted. Like, okay. Making it a little obvious, are we? We're coming on a bit strong. Oh, motherfucker. Ant-Man 3 is going to be bringing in Kang, isn't it?
Yep, I mentioned that a couple weeks ago. It's happening. It's happening.
Captain Marvel 2 is definitely going to be bringing in Changeling. Okay, yeah, it's happening. It's going to be weird to see Young Avengers happening before X-Men, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, especially
let's be honest, it's weird to have all this happen at all before Fantastic Four even entered the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
They started all in the comics, and then they're one of the last ones in the door for the cinematic universe. It's like, hey, guys.
They did what they could, not the ideal. Yeah.
I don't want to know what a cinematic universe is. Galactus.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant.
Galactus.
To be fair, Galactus doesn't literally eat the planets. That'd be a bit messier if he did that. Like, just imagining a giant guy trying to dig his face first into, like, a planet like Earth. He's just eating dirt by the handful.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, what was I going to say? Alright, overall, I really enjoyed WandaVision. I think I had some gripes with it, but I watched it 2 weeks ago, and now I can't remember what the gripes were. I mean, Kat Dennings is just kind of like, phoning it in, but I think she phones it in for every performance she did.
How dare you?
I
Well, I'll
mean,
be honest. All the episodes I watched, Kat Dennings was there for maybe a grand total of 5 minutes, which sucked for me. But
that's what I was about to say. Is like I didn't care though about Kat Dennings because she was there for like 10 minutes.
Right.
Okay, Falcon and Winter Soldier. How much of that have you watched, Pink?
All of it.
Okay, so Falcon and Winter Soldier is a show of high highs and low lows.
What are the lows?
Anytime they try to handle racism, I'd say.
I would agree. You know, that scene in Baltimore?
Yes.
that was freaking awkward.
Yeah. It's like the cops developed hawk vision. They just they developed eagle vision from Assassin's Creed.
Falcon vision.
Yeah, Falcon vision. There we go. Falcon vision. There's a crowd of black people, but they highlight on the one that's the main character, and they're like, this is the one that we will arrest for doing nothing. The rest, they can all get away with doing nothing, but this one we will arrest for doing nothing. The one who was...
He's too smug while doing nothing.
The one who was actually taking a stroll with a white guy, but the moment that the white guy defends him, we back off. Like, wait, if you're just gonna back off the moment they're defended by a white friend, why would you choose to go for the one who is obviously walking with a white friend?
You fools!
It creates tension.
Like, just face plant into the landmine, please. And it's... I feel like the only way they could have made it more awkward would be if, like, just immediately Bucky is like, what are you doing? And the cops just leave. Like, they just awkwardly shuffle out of frame. And I do mean every time they try to handle racism, they handle it incorrectly, because they neutered the fuck out of Isaiah Bradley. Because, like, I mean, it would have taken budget to do, like, period piece actual scenes going back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it would have been so much better if we actually saw it, you know?
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, the actor that they got to play Isaiah does a fantastic job. But, like, all we have to go off of is, like, these pretty well 3 entirely divorced from the rest of the narrative scenes of Isaiah saying, you know, they did horrible things to me. And you've not read the original Truth, Red, White, and Black comic, have you, Pink?
I have not.
So that comic goes a bit hard in the paint. And maybe a little too hard for Disney, but I don't know. It kind of feels like missed opportunity. Also, I really don't like that they changed it, like, because I don't think they ever actually spell it out, but they kind of imply that in this universe, Isaiah didn't come before Steve. And I think that takes a lot of the gut punch out of Isaiah's story. Because, I mean, there's still the thing there of, like, yeah, he really was, like, for all intents and purposes, another Captain America, and the government just never respected him for that. But, like, even the show doesn't really respect him for that. Like, they don't talk about him being a black Captain America, they talk about him being a black super soldier, which is a bit different, because there's loads of fucking super soldiers running around.
Right.
And they don't talk nearly enough about him not being the only one. They don't talk nearly enough about him just being the only one who survived.
Right.
And again, it's also another big change, is like changing it from, because don't they change it to he was around the Korean War instead of World War II?
Yes, he was not a World War II vet.
That changes the story a lot too. Because again, there's a spot in the comics, and there's a spot in Red, White, and Black where Isaiah goes to try and free a concentration camp and accidentally gets himself stuck in a gas chamber. And it's horrible. And it, like, obviously, it's not to downplay that the Korean War probably had a lot of horrific stuff. I'm not terribly well researched on the Korean War. But in the kind of common zeitgeist, your average everyday person nowadays doesn't care about the Korean War, but we all know about the Holocaust, you know?
I guess.
So if you want
I
to
mean,
double
the
down,
Holocaust does come over a Korean War, but I don't know. I'd say Korea is pretty relevant.
it's relevant in terms of we're still dealing with North Korea, but we don't actually talk about the Korean War itself, you know? The Korean War is one of the only historical events that is relevant in that we all acknowledge that it has had a tremendous influence on the modern day.
Yeah, sure.
But, like, in terms of stuff that we think of as horrific and traumatizing and a glimpse into humanity at its worst, the Korean War definitely does not compare to the Holocaust in the public eye, you know?
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I also would have preferred if they'd have done the Isaiah Bradley stuff before Steve got, left. Because, I mean, that was one of the best parts of the comics was Steve actually, like, trying to go back and right the wrongs about the stuff he didn't know, and we don't get to do that at all. Admittedly, part of the reason they probably couldn't do that is because when Red, White, and Black originally came out in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, Steve could actually go back and get payback on the people who put Isaiah through what happened to him. Nowadays, you couldn't do that because all those people would be fucking dead because World War II was 70 years ago. Again, though, Isaiah must be fucking ancient by the time of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even with the time scale moving. So it's actually kind of incredible that he looks as good as he does.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's still a big, powerful looking son of a bitch. Like, he looks old, but they also chose correctly to get an actor who looks old, but is also very clearly still big and imposing.
Yep.
Like, Isaiah's sad and ancient, but he still looks like he could kick the asses of, like, half the Marvel cast. Okay, so with the lows out of the way, on to the highs. So, for one thing, Zemo, still the fucking highlight. Still steals the show of every scene he's in.
Yep. Yep.
The moment I saw that first trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Zemo popped up, I was like, fucking yes. I was so ready to see Zemo come back. And come back he did.
Absolutely.
And I am fascinated to see where they go from here. Because they're actually, like, despite the fact that, like, his origin story is entirely different, he still feels very close to the kind of fundamental idea of Zemo in the comics.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of a megalomaniacal extremist, but at the same time, there's also a certain level to him where it's like, yeah, on some level, he's a genuinely good guy who's also kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And the balls on Kevin Feige for finally doing the Zemo mask, the Zemo hood.
Yeah.
And the balls on Kevin Feige for making him a Baron after having introduced him as not being a Baron.
Yes.
Like,
yes. I was very happy with all the little details they added.
I absolutely love that scene where Zemo comes out of prison and he goes to like a super like luxurious jet, and Sam and Bucky are like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "I'm a Baron, guys."
Yeah.
Where'd this come from? My favorite joke in the whole series has probably got to be Sam bringing back the Trouble Man Marvin Gaye discussion with Bucky. And, like, you think it's just going to be a cute little nod, and then Zemo butts in and says, "I agree with Sam. It is a masterpiece that has perfect insight into the African-American experience." And it's like, Zemo, Have you ever been to America? Is Sam not the first African American person you've met in your life?
That's a good point.
Oh, man. I'm also fond of the dialogue when they're going into Madripoor and Sam says, "This outfit makes me look like a pimp." And Zemo says, "Only an American would think that a fashion-forward black man looks like a pimp." Zemo's just great from beginning to end. John Walker, also great from beginning to end.
Absolutely. I thought this cast was absolutely stellar.
Like, they handle it pretty well exactly as they should have. Where the first 5 episodes, you're like, man, John Walker, what a fucking shit. And then that 6th episode, it's like, actually, you know what? He's not all bad. Which is pretty well, yeah, that's John Walker for you.
Absolutely.
70% of the time, you're like, John Walker, what a shit. And then the remaining 30%, you're like, hey, he's not all bad. That scene is so properly handled when they bring him out in the costume, and it's like, wow, that's not Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell they perfectly paced that, because Twitter had, like, the entirely that reaction. Like, congrats.
Yeah, I really like the reactions on Twitter.
Yeah, and like someone asked like Wyatt Russell in an interview, like, "Oh, do you feel insulted by everyone saying that you're not anything close to the Chris Evans Captain America legacy?" And Wyatt Russell's like, "That was the idea, jackass." Congrats, that's literally my character's story.
Yep.
Oh man, and the balls they had. Okay, there was a smile that like. My face turned into a smile when he properly becomes U.S. agent and they call him U.S. agent. Because on one hand, it was that smile of a obscure comic book character that for decades I felt like I'm the only one who knows about. Getting brought to the big screen and very suddenly becoming a iconic character.
Yeah.
Like, is there any timeline in the past where you would have imagined that fucking U.S. Agent John Walker would become an iconic Marvel character?
I think I was saying something similar last week when you weren't here. I was like, I've always loved U.S. Agent, and if you had told me 10 years ago that he'd be making an appearance in the MCU, not only as a cameo or anything like that, but as a major character, I would have laughed in your face and called you stupid and then walked away. And then 10 years later, we would be standing here, and I would have egg on my face.
Yeah, I will say, the other reason I smiled, though, was because, goddamn, U.S. Agent is one of the dumbest superhero names.
And that's what makes it so freaking good. They actually pulled the trigger. They're like, hey, this comic book name, we're going to use it to its fullest potential.
Yeah. And, like, the especially great thing is, like, yeah, of course it's lame. The government came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love that they accidentally got fucked with Valentina de la Allegra. Because she was supposed to debut in Black Widow. But she didn't.
Oh.
She debuted here. So that's why in her first scene, she walks into frame and you can't see her face. But you hear her voice, and it's supposed to be like, oh shit, it's Valentina de la Allegra. But then, that's not the reaction you get at all. The reaction you get is, what, who the fuck?
Who's this? Yeah.
Like, you still kind of get the holy shit reaction because it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus, right? Because it's everyone knows the Seinfeld guys, right?
I've never seen Seinfeld in my life.
Right, but you know the Seinfeld cast.
No.
Bullshit.
No, I don't. No, I've never heard of this woman before this series.
That is insane. That is actually insane.
Yeah, I know the Jerry. Isn't he the one that did the movie?
Well, you know Jerry Seinfeld, yes.
Okay, I know that one.
You've watched Jurassic Park at some point, right?
Right.
So you know Newman. You don't know
that?
Wayne Knight, the scientist that starts everything in Jurassic Park.
Okay.
The magic word You don't know the magic word, that guy.
Right.
You don't know George Costanza, but that's fine. And you don't know Kramer, which is for the better. If you want to know Kramer, I can send you a video of him going on a racist tirade. That'd be fun.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't think I like that.
I swear to Christ, you two have got to stop living under rocks at some point. Alright. So, yeah. They've introduced Valentina Allegra. Whatever. Fuck it. I'm not going to say it properly any time, so. I'll just call her Valentina, because that's the one part I know I can get right. The name's too long, goddammit. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Was she not, like, part of, like, Dark Reign in the comics or something like that?
I can't say for certain on Dark Reign, because that's around Dark Reign and Siege. That's where I completely tuned out of Marvel, because I had all those events. Like, basically anything post-Civil War, or Civil War and after, I didn't like, so that's when I kind of stopped reading the mainline stuff and tried to go off into other directions, and then all those got pulled into events that I didn't like, and I was like, all right, screw this, I'm done. But I believe that she was Madam Hydra during the Dark Reign.
Okay. I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking, like, they introduced Sword. They're probably gonna, like, they've introduced Sword in contrast to S.H.I.E.L.D. They've introduced Valentina. They've introduced U.S. Agent as a government scumbag, and they are just generally showing the U.S. government getting more and more scummy with these movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. Like, and Peter Parker's identity has gone public. So, I'm still thinking
if they don't do Dark Avengers in any capacity, I think they're gonna merge both Dark Avengers and Thunderbolts and the 2012 Thunderbolts incarnations into one.
And I feel like Zemo would be the Ares of this Dark Avengers, right?
Yes.
Because if they bring in Norman, like, Ares was always the one guy out of the Dark Avengers who wasn't a scumbag. And isn't Norman killing Ares what sets off Norman's downfall?
Yes. Yes, it is.
The question, I think the real question then is, when they gonna introduce Sentry?
That is a good question. In theory, they could introduce him whenever they want. Here's the thing, though. Zemo's on the raft. The raft is a thing. This means that there are potentially plenty of other people on the raft, which means in the future, if they should ever want to do a new Avengers, because let's face it, the Avengers don't exist right now, they've already set themselves up for a raft prison break.
That's true. That is what causes the new Avengers to assemble, isn't it?
Yes.
And the young Avengers assemble in the very small amount of time between the Avengers and the new Avengers, don't they?
Yes.
Okay, I'd have to question who the new Avengers lineup would be then, because it's definitely going to be Spider-Man, of course.
Right.
Are they going to wait on the new Avengers until they can do, like, the first, like, until they introduce Logan? Because I feel like the definitive new Avengers are Spidey and Wolverine, you know?
You're not wrong. I hadn't considered that.
Because they've already kind of started laying setup for Logan. Because did you notice in that scene in Madripoor, the Princess Bar?
I did not.
The Princess Bar is in Madripoor in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's a big neon sign for it. So,
all right.
Logan may already be running around off camera. We don't know. I keep saying
if there's an X-Men you want to just push past all the other characters and straight onto Avengers roster, that's the one to go with.
Yeah, because I mean, Logan isn't in the initial lineup of X-Men in the comics, and I'd like to
precisely.
I'd like to see a lineup of X-Men in the movies without Logan for just once, just so that Logan doesn't hog the spotlight for once, you know?
I wholeheartedly agree. Oh, that'd be nice.
I would, if they actually went for the lineup of Psyche, Angel, Jean Grey, Iceman, and Beast, then the size of Kevin Feige's cojones are even bigger than I thought.
Agreed.
Like, that one, like...
I'm torn, though, because as much as I like the original X-Men, the all-new X-Men, those are my guys.
Oh, yeah. Like, the thing is, like, I'd love to see a Wolverine-less X-Men. At the same time, X-Men without Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Storm, Colossus, that just isn't X-Men, you know?
Yeah, it's like that. Without those characters, that's a weird offshoot of the X-Men, right? You know, nobody cares about those other guys.
Like, I feel
But
like
yeah,
if they want to do a Wolverine-less X-Men, I feel like they'd still have to do, like, pretty well immediately start off with, like, all right, we got the 5 X-Men and Angels left. Okay, all right, and the other 4 are trapped on fucking Krakoa or wherever. All right, roll out Kitty Pryde, Colossus, and Nightcrawler, and Storm. Well, maybe not Kitty Pryde so soon, but they still have to do Kitty Pryde pretty soon. They're operating on limited time.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of okay, oh, Jesus Christ, I blew out the mic again. The idea of Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde getting together is already impossible.
Well, I don't think they do that anyway.
Thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully. I don't know, because that is also so recent, I don't know how much content they've been pulling from the more recent stuff. I mean, obviously, it's a fair amount if, you know, we've already got Civil War and a lot of other things that have already happened or seem to be being set up to happen as, you know, Young Avengers on the way.
Yeah.
But I don't see, just because two characters are intertwined in a comic book throughout the years of, let's say, 2016, 2017, I don't see that as reason enough to change the course that the MCU has already set. I think because they've already pretty much well and done with Gamora and Star-Lord being a thing for the future, even with all the time travel shenanigans, I don't see them undoing that just in order to get a reference to, hey, this was canon in the Marvel Comics at one point, so we're going to make it canon in the MCU for a little while. I don't see that happening. I think that would be altering things too much for little to no actual purpose, because I am completely oblivious to what's going on nowadays, but I don't believe that Kitty Pryde being hooked up with Star-Lord ever amounts to anything outside of Kitty Pryde taking over for Star-Lord, which nobody would really want, because let's be honest, Chris Pratt, he's fantastic. Well, despite whatever you feel about his political views, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, kind of a great character that you want to keep going for as long as you can. And I don't see them introducing an X-Man who, in theory, should be introduced later than the original lineups. Also going on to, hey, now I'm going up to space and now I'm becoming Star-Lord. That's a lot of stuff to happen in a rather quick succession. Even if this takes us like 10, 20 years, that I'd still say that's moving a little too fast for no good reason. But that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, I absolutely would agree that, like, they're just never going to do any of the stupid Bendis stuff of Thing is a Guardian of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel is a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Oh, God. Oh.
Iron Man is a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah, remember when I read Guardians of the Galaxy and then they put Bendis on it and I stopped? Good time.
I don't think they're going to do any of that. I was just, like, saying, like, to put the timescale in perspective.
Yeah. You just had reminded me that Thing was a Guardian of the Galaxy for a moment there, and I died on the inside.
Thing's the one I'm fine with, because Thing always wanted to go into space anyways.
This is true, but I don't like him being a part of a team that doesn't involve his family. He's leaving his family to go hang out with some space tree and a raccoon. That doesn't sit well with me. No matter how adventurous he's feeling, I feel like he's a family man first and foremost. Otherwise, it feels like his character that has been kind of developed over genuine decades, half centuries now. To throw that all away, it just doesn't sit well with me.
I mean, considering that at the time Marvel's main objective was just to assassinate the Fantastic Four, I'm happier with Thing going to space than just disappearing into the fucking space-time ether like Reed and Sue did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
At least Ben was doing something.
Probably dropping to the Hulk, even though he's much stronger.
What was I gonna say? Right. Yeah, I was just like putting into times, like perspective, like how the time scale has been much different from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
If like at one point the idea of a Peter Kitty romance was not entirely unreasonable, now it very much is.
Ha!
And boy, what is with Brian Michael Bendis and putting people with Kitty Pryde?
Good question. I don't want to know the answer.
That guy's got issues.
Indeed.
On the other hand, I do kind of enjoy the stupidity of Kitty Pryde is really into dudes named Peter. I have to imagine, like, with the movies, they're probably never going to even do, like, Colossus cheating on Kitty when he goes to Secret Wars.
Like that's going to happen.
They'll probably do Secret Wars, just not the way it went down in the comics, because, like,
They'll
obviously...
use the Secret War name and maybe a bit of the concept. The Secret Wars was stupid, and everyone knows that it was done in order to sell toys, so, it's... The likelihood of it happening at all in homage to it is low, I would say. They'll use a name, maybe a couple of concepts. That's about it. But it would be nice to see Doom get a big villain movie, so that could work.
Yeah, my thing is just, like, there is a lot of stuff that happened in Secret Wars. Like, Secret Wars did exist just to sell toys, blatantly. But there was a lot of stuff that happened in Secret Wars that was rather important to the characters. Because, I mean, obviously...
yeah, it undid a lot of stuff.
It did undo a lot of stuff. But it also did some stuff. Because that Secret Wars was the first time that, like, Magneto really felt like there was potential for Magneto to join the good guys. Fucking, they introduced the symbiote suit for Peter. Oh boy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Secret Wars was where it was, like, really solidified that the X-Men don't get along with the other heroes, right? Because, like, Spider-Man got in a fight with them.
Yeah.
Which I think that might be kind of important to handle, just showing the X-Men not getting along with the other heroes, just to explain why they don't help the X-Men.
That's a good point.
Whenever they get around to introducing mutants, boy, they are going to have to handle that hurdle. Because, like, there's a lot of issues people have with the X-Men that I think are silly. Like, there's a lot of people saying, like, oh, it's not actually an allegory for racism. It doesn't work as an allegory for racism. And it's, like, whatever. But, like, when people say, like, why don't the Avengers help fight against the fucking, the Sentinels, or, the hate mongers or whoever, like, the answer to that is, like, oh, good question. Why don't they help? Like, why don't you just see Punisher, like, you remember how God Loves, Man Kills starts off with a bunch of anti-mutant extremists killing mutant children?
Yeah.
Like, should that not be, like, a big red flag for Punisher, and he, like, makes a
You would think.
Like, suddenly Punisher's making a cross-country trip. He's got to find that Stryker guy.
Right.
But instead, Punisher sticks to the usual, like, drug dealers and hoodlums? Okay. Yeah, man. Anyways, get back to Falcon and Winter Soldier, because holy fuck, we've gone off topic just talking about whatever random comic book bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bucky is handled pretty great. Bucky, I would say, Bucky does have a problem in that he's not got a whole lot to do over the course of the series.
I agree.
He had the stuff with Zemo, he had the stuff with Io, and that was pretty much it. Probably the overall just best constructed scene in the series has probably got to be the scene where it flashes back to Wakanda and them fixing Bucky. That was pretty great. The second best scene is probably when Walker finally loses it. That one's probably the second best scene.
Yeah.
What else did I want to say? I for years and years I've bitched about Sam Wilson becoming. His last name is Wilson, right? I can never remember.
Yeah.
Okay, for years and years I've bitched about Sam Wilson becoming Captain America because for me it's the same as Dick Grayson becoming Batman, right? Like, to me, it implies a promotion, and a promotion implies that the previous title they held was diminutive. And to me, Nightwing and Falcon are adult identities, not child sidekick identities. Falcon was always Captain America's he was always Captain America's equal, his partner. You know?
Yeah.
Making him Captain America always kind of implies that he was always like sub to Captain America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can interpret that whichever way you want to wish. And I have to say, I was actually a lot happier with the way that this show handled Sam becoming Cap. I thought they handled it with a much better pace.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we all went in knowing, well, obviously Sam's going to be Cap. Like, that was, we all knew. But they handled it really well of, like, Sam not wanting to take on the responsibility, feeling that he's not enough for it, feeling that it's not appropriate to him, feeling that it's not him, and eventually, like, at Bucky and the entire globe, except for Isaiah, saying, no, motherfucker, it don't matter whether or not you like it or whether you think you're appropriate to it. The world needs a Captain America. The world needs a Captain America, and John Walker is not him. Somebody's got to step up to the plate, and you're the poor son of a bitch who's stuck in that position. And I gotta, again, the cojones to just straight up, like, do the most comic accurate costume yet. Like, the Sam
And it looks so good!
It does! It does! Like, it just straight up, it's identical to his comic book costume. I was genuinely, like, amazed and shocked by that. Like, they didn't try to add any X-Men leather to it. I was so impressed. Bucky looks a lot better with short hair. I know it's iconic for the Winter Soldier to have long, unkempt hair to make him look wild, but I don't know. I like Bucky a lot with short hair.
I think he looked freaking handsome.
Yeah.
I dug it.
And I dig the vibranium arm. The Wakandan vibranium arm. The black and gold contrasts brilliantly with the rest of his costume, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that all the scenes where they go back to New Orleans, like Bucky and Sam's sister keep making eyes at each other, and Sam's just like, God damn it.
It's
of
so
all
good.
the people, why did it have to be him? And, like, they didn't do anything with that, but I have a strong feeling that whenever they do Captain America 4, like, Sam's gonna go home to his sister, and Bucky's there playing with the kids, and Sam's just like, God fucking damn it. Like, they did too many scenes of Bucky playing with Sam's nephews for it not to be setting up, like, yeah, Bucky's gonna get with Sam's sister.
I think we'd all be fine with that.
Also, did they introduce Sam's nephews just to have someone call Sam Uncle Sam?
I hope so, because that's golden.
I love that. Like, if it weren't obvious that he was going to be Captain America before. Oh, man. You know what? Actually, the other flaw, I think, other than the show's attempts at handling racism, the other flaw with Falcon and Winter Soldier, boy, the Flag Smashers are just kind of like the most inconsistent villains.
Yeah.
We're
It
supposed
really
to be simple.
sucks because over the past, I would say 6 years maybe, the MCU had gotten really, really good at making very good villains. You know, good not being the proper word, I suppose, but...
Well, and a couple times they were doing good at making good villains.
Yeah. and the Flag Smashers, they just kind of fell flat. It's like
They
it
tried.
felt like they were kind of building it up in the first couple episodes into maybe something good, but then they're just bland. It's flavorless. I didn't like it. It could have been better.
Well, there are so many times where, like, we're sympathetic because we have a good philosophy. And every time it's like, what fucking philosophy?
Right.
Well, we can't explain it because that would actually get too political. So we're just going to say we
Yeah.
have a good philosophy.
It could have worked so good because they're kind of in that situation where it's counter to Sam very very closely because they're the people that were on the earth when the snap happens and everyone freaking dies, and
Yeah.
now they've moved on and had their own lives, and now uh reverse snap, everyone's back, Sam's back. He's trying to reassemble his old life that has been torn apart, and he can't even get a bank loan anymore, and they're the ones who are being uprooted, and so now their life that they built, that's tarnished, it's gone. So neither of these characters have a world to return to. They're both uprooted. They're basically back at day one of being an adult or less, and I thought that could have been handled a lot better, but it's kind of glossed over.
Yeah, the problem is that they start off by saying they want to return things to the way they were before everyone got brought back. And your
Right.
immediate response is, "Oh, so they want to institute a fucking genocide."
Right.
And it takes them like 2 or 3 episodes to explain, no, what they're actually fighting for is global anarchism because in the time after the snap, because the world's population had dropped so low, pretty much every country instituted complete open borders because they were that desperate for labor.
Yep.
Which is like, they should have just explained that from the beginning!
Probably. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, these guys, they wanted to turn the world back to the way it was back when the snap happened. They're like, oh, yeah, Sam was kind of part of that. So are they wanting him dead again? No, not quite. Not quite.
and oh god, what else was I going to say? Right, the other thing is like, there's also the problem of them repeatedly trying to be like, oh, they're sympathetic. And it's like, yeah, I'm imagining Carly's real sympathetic to those people she killed in that fucking hospital bombing. She bombed a goddamn hospital! A
Uh-huh.
hospital! Of all places! Like, okay, bombing a government facility, that's a bit harsh, but I think we can eventually come around to it. Like the idea that, oh, maybe that government was, like, corrupt or something. Bombing a goddamn hospital! Killing patients and doctors, like, what's the sympathetic part there? What part am I supposed to be
Right.
like, yeah, vive la revolution?
Big Pharma.
They were sympathetic because that one character that was their mom died. And then after that, they did nothing to gain our sympathies at all. So well done. Bravo.
I love how you and me were talking this whole time, and then in the background you just lightly hear Addie say, Big Pharma.
Big Pharma.
Like, he didn't even, like, interject with any, like, force. It's just very subtly in the background. Big Pharma. Matter-of-factly, bluntly. Big Pharma, you know.
I love it.
That's the reason for being sympathetic. Big Pharma.
All right. Oh, God. What else do I want to say? I thought the action scenes were a bit disappointing in Falcon the Winter Soldier. There's too many cuts. They aren't.
There are, and I felt like a lot of the scenes were a bit too dark for my liking.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of Transformers vibes where a lot of times it'd be like a lot of cuts in a dark room kind of makes everything blend together a little too well. I would like things to stand out more. Daredevil, if they did a dark scene, I'm thinking specifically of that long shot in the hallway. Everything's very, very dark and not everything is very easily visible. But the way it's all framed without the cuts and whatnot, it makes it so you never lose focus on what's going on.
Yes.
With this one, even if there was a lot of color and you could tell what the characters were, there were still a bit too many cuts. It was like a freaking WWE match where it's all over the place, and you're like, can you just hold still for like 3 freaking seconds so I can comprehend what's happening in the situation right now? Thank you, please. Goodbye.
Well, part of what they're doing is they're trying to cover up for the fact that actors make stuntmen make fuck ups, so they don't have to do everything in a single take. Because holy shit,
this is true. This is very true.
The other reason they do that is because a lot of the cuts are deliberately obscuring the action, so you can't see they're not really hitting each other. But like, honestly, I'd rather see them not hitting each other because like, I don't know. It's what's the word? Suspension of disbelief kicks in, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather see what's going on and them not hitting each other, you know?
Yeah. So
and yeah,
if a few punches miss in the final cut, I'm fine with that. Just as long as I can get all the stuff on screen translated to me. But even if they're punching each other straight in the face and you're cutting all over the place, it loses the value.
Yeah, and even then, it's like the stuntmen are getting punched in the face for no value because like you can't even see them getting punched.
Yeah, you can't appreciate it fully. How do you expect us to appreciate somebody getting punched in the mouth with all these cuts? It's bad.
Okay, my one last thing I want to say on Falcon Winter Soldier, though. Excuse me. Sharon Carter is still the most nothing character.
But she's freaking beautiful, so it's forgivable.
That's subjective, my friend. Yeah,
unbelievable.
They're trying to do something. They're trying. I'm gonna keep on disagreeing with that. Anyway, they're trying to do something.
Is this when I start talking about the freaking my types?
Were you doing that earlier?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Not explicitly.
But she is a hollow attempt at remaking fucking Agent Carter. Okay, we all know it.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Peggy was freaking beautiful.
If I ever run into Emily Van Camp, she is completely entitled to slap me in the face. But no, she is not nearly as good looking as Haley Atwood.
Few people are. In fact, I cannot name a single one right now. So yeah. Well done, Haley. You're the greatest. Please marry me if you hear this.
Yeah.
You won't. But still. Offers valid now through 2061.
Isn't she 20 years your senior? Ticking.
What's that?
Isn't she 20 years your senior?
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, guys typically die a lot faster than the ladies, so,
That's true.
We'll probably die at the exact same time if she's 20 years older than me.
What you didn't know is that Pink's been the Wolf Wizard all along.
But you... Pink, you know why men die a lot younger than women? Because they're trying to impress women.
You're not wrong.
Anyways, yeah, Sharon Carter is just a nothing character. They tried to do something with her, and I'm glad they're trying to do something with her, and that something is just entirely ignoring Sharon Carter as a character and turning her into something else.
They took a step back and said, hey, this new Peggy type thing, it's not working. We're going to make you something else entirely. It's nothing like anything we've done in the comics. They're just pulling this entirely out of left field.
Sharon Carter's a nothing character in the comics, too. Like, I don't even know why they brought her in. They should have just replaced all of her bits in Civil War and Winter Soldier with Natasha. They already had a secret agent character. It's really just that at the time of Winter Soldier, they didn't know what they were going to do with Cap, and they didn't know they didn't know that they were going to do with Cap what they did do with Cap.
Yeah, it's like time travel back then. That's heresy. You don't do that.
Like, boy, when you consider the existence of Sharon Carter, like, it's kind of dickish for Cap to have done what he did, but at the same time, I understand.
I understand greatly.
I
I would
wouldn't
have done the same thing.
I wouldn't have dug
No
myself.
hesitation.
I wouldn't have dug myself in that hole to begin with. But if I were in that situation, I would have at least told Sharon bye. What's the thing that was a meme 5 years ago? Bye, Felicia? There you go.
Who's Felicia?
I don't know, but she's getting gone. That's where she's going.
Oh.
Man, I hope that the next time we see Sharon, which I guess spoilers for, I already said spoilers, so fuck it. I hope the next time we see Sharon, they go full fucking Anakin Skywalker and Revenge of the Sith with her. Like, not only has she become like this horrible weapon and drug dealer, we see her kill loads of innocents. Just go fully into it. I don't care. Fuck Sharon Carter. Make Sharon Carter is Doctor Doom.
Oh my goodness. That'd be wild.
She tries to remake the super soldier serum again and burns her face, and she puts the mask on.
Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask.
That's right, I didn't care. Oh, Christ,
That's
I'm blowing up.
accurate.
But then she became the mood. She became one with the mood.
Oh, man. Ugh. Okay, so Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, consistent, pretty good. Falcon Winter Soldier, inconsistent, really good when it's doing well and pretty poor when it's doing poor. There's one other TV show I watched a bit of this week. After much begging from Soon, I watched the first episode of Invincible with my family.
Oh!
Yeah, after getting a Amazon free trial. Pink, have you watched Invincible?
I have not. I'm planning on it though.
Okay.
So I might actually have to step out.
I'll bite my tongue at the appropriate points. All I'll say is I haven't watched the first episode. Soon says it gets really good at the 5th episode, which is never something you want to hear when starting a TV show. Like, oh, just sit through the
No,
first
because
4 hours.
they're like only 10 episodes, and you're telling me it gets better at the halfway point. What the heck?
Well, to be fair, season 2 and season 3 both just got greenlit.
This is true.
But yeah, episode 1 is slow goings for most of it, and then very suddenly the TV show justifies its existence. It's one of those cases, right?
Right.
Game of Thrones episode 1, it's a lot of slow goings, and then Jaime and Cersei get caught having sex and throw a child from a tower. So yeah, you get that. Wait,
while they were having sex?
Yeah, Bran walks in on them while they're having sex. Jaime has mounted Cersei from behind. They're clothed, but, well, Jaime's not wearing pants, but okay, they're not like, you don't see hardcore porno, but it's happening, you know? And then Cersei.
So he walks in and gets thrown out a window.
Yeah, and then Jaime is like, oh shit, that's bad. And then Cersei's like, chuck that kid out that window. And Jaime's like, really?
He just delete us.
And then Cersei is like, yes, kick the kid out the window. And Jaime's like, okay.
Whatever you say, ma'am.
And then somehow they make Jaime one of the most beloved characters of the series after that. George R.R. Martin can do anything.
But finish the book.
Except finish his series.
Oh, god damn it. Oh, ow. God damn it. Don't be that funny ever again. I just felt my ribs stab into my lungs. Ow. Ow, that hurt. Oh, Jesus. It's very rare in my life that I get to feel my lungs, but I did just there. Oh, okay. So anyways, Invincible. The animation quality is not great. Amazon pumped a lot of money into the voice cast and not as much into the animation. Body language is fucking static. and faces are very unemotive, and it's very weird, and I was not able to get over it. The plot is okay. I've spoiled myself on the comics, so I know where it's going, and that does sound like some pretty interesting stuff. But I don't know that I'm willing to sit through that many hours to see it get to where it's going. I know where it's going, but like I don't know that I'm. There are some shows where spoiling it made me want to sit through all of it. Invincible, I don't know that I'm willing to sit through the meat. I don't know that I'm willing to sit through the potatoes to get to the meat, and I don't know that the potatoes are something I want to sit through either. Like Game of Thrones, spoiling it, I was like, oh, I want to see this, you know?
Yeah.
With that said, it may just not be for me. Like, last night I was thinking, like, you know, the show would probably be a lot more entertaining for me if I wasn't just sick to death of deconstructive superhero works, right?
Yeah.
And, like, for someone like Soon or Ted, who has probably tried to go out of their way to avoid deconstructive superhero works, this is probably a lot more entertaining. For someone like Ted, who is also just kind of disenfranchised with the way that the superhero movies have been going in general to begin with, he's probably happy to see them deconstructed a bit. What I will say is it's not full-blown deconstructive. We are not talking Watchmen here, and we are very much not talking The Boys.
Yeah.
Invincible is a show where it's like, what if some superheroes were douchebags, but the rest were still cool, idealistic superheroes that try to help people?
Right.
So there's kind of a conflict there, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that could be a lot more interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've read enough of the Marvel comics and DC comics where that's also the case, you know? Like, I've read enough of Civil War to see stories where some superheroes are douchebags and some aren't. Some aren't, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think I've got particularly a whole lot to say. Other than, oh boy, episode 1 ends hard. Oh boy. They fucking went for it. They went balls deep for it. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. What else is there? Total War Rome Remastered came out 2 days ago. I got to play it for a little bit. It's cool. It's weird seeing a game remastered in such a way where they have not, like, remasters ordinarily, they up-res the textures, they up-res the resolution, they call it a day. Rome Remastered, entirely new models, entirely new textures, vastly overhauled UI and controls, and they fixed the pathfinding AI so it's not as fucked up. But the actual animations are still the same, so it's weird seeing a bunch of, like, super HD 4K men standing in perfectly frozen fucking 1998 Polygon Man poses, you know? With that said, it plays really well, feels like a lot of fun. Loading screens are way too long. That's pretty much the extent of what I got to say about it. I haven't put that much time in with it. Seems pretty cool, though. The last thing I did this week, I beat Demon Souls.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. That game is fucking gorgeous, unsurprisingly, because it's the first real PS5 game, even though it's a remake. And oh boy, the PS5 is a fucking powerhouse. I've already seen some of the footage for Returnal, and that game looks nuts. I don't know about you guys, but when I saw the trailers for Returnal at like E3 and the Game Awards, I was like, wow, this game looks completely uninteresting. It's just space. And now it's actually out, and everybody's like, holy shit, this game's actually fantastic. What the hell?
Yeah.
So the description of it, like, what we just saw in the trailers was like, oh, astronaut woman is stuck on an alien planet. There's some weird alien, ancient, like, god conspiracy here. And that's it. And, like, you got a little bit of seeing that the gameplay was third-person shooter. And it's like, oh, well, okay, I'm gonna skip this game. And now that it's actually out, I get, like, it's probably partly my fault for just not, it's probably partly my fault. It's probably partly my fault for not paying attention to the marketing that much. But apparently what the critics have to say about it is it's Hades, but like in full modern graphics and 4K and everything. And a third-person shooter instead of kind of a, like, top-down shoot 'em up.
So a roguelike?
Yeah, it's a roguelike.
which
It's
is
very
a
much
which is a genre already. Like,
right, but I hear like what they said was like it's more structured like Hades, because Hades, like the kicker with Hades is a roguelike, but most roguelikes, whenever you die, it resets everything, right? Whereas Hades, some progress gets reset when you die, some progress you keep, right?
I don't know. Most
Right.
roguelikes I've played seem to do it that way.
Well,
Like
it
Dead
kind
Cells
of
did it that
depends.
way. Gungeon did it that way.
Right, but do they like make it easier on the following runs? Because like
Yeah.
Rogue Legacy, you keep some of it. Did Enter the Gungeon do it that way?
Yes.
Okay,
It's not straight up stat boosts, but it like the more guns you have, the better chances of getting overpowered guns there are
okay, so
easily.
it's Binding of Isaac style, where you don't get
Well,
stronger between.
Gungeon, yeah.
It,
Gungeon, yeah. There was also another one that released before, like a week before Hades or something like that. That was like this mine freaking mine like it was basically Spelunky but Isaac more or less, and that one also had like straight up stat boosts like Hades.
all right. For me, like the mental image of roguelikes is usually like either the really ancient ones where it's just straight up you lose everything and nothing is carried over, or Binding of Isaac, yeah, where you don't get stronger between runs, you just unlock more
Oh,
characters,
another
more
one
things.
that I can talk about is Wizard of Legend. That one, Wizard of Legend had the thing a thing where if you like you could buy upgrades to get better in during the runs, but for every run you got like this special money that you bought better spells with, and you just started out with those spells whenever you start the game up.
All right.
So
Okay,
so
I
that was a
see.
straight up
Okay.
upgrade immediately.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I was just stuck in thought because I didn't get much sleep last night. I haven't got much sleep in a long time. Oh boy.
Dude, I've been waking up at freaking like 5 a.m. for the past 3 months.
Yeah, it's rough, ain't
4.
it?
Yeah.
Except I went in the opposite direction. I've been waking up at like fucking 1 p.m.
I
I
mean,
keep.
usually that's how I did it, but like with with how my freaking my sleep schedule has been, I go to sleep around like midnight and then wake up at 5 a.m. It's fun. Who needs sleep anyway?
I'm missing out on daylight. God
Not
damn it.
not not my body apparently.
Anyways, what was I gonna say? So, Demon Souls. Demon Souls is interesting. The original was probably a lot rougher because it was definitely a lot janker. Because that, like back then, just to put things in perspective, like every Dark Souls game now has where when you're locked on, there's 8-way rolling, right? You can roll in the cardinal directions and you can roll in between them. The
Yeah.
original Dark Souls and the original Demon Souls had 4-way rolling, which sucked. As someone who played through Dark Souls, I can tell you, fucking sucked. I'm one of the people who likes to lock on a lot in Souls games, but there's a lot of times in Dark Souls you gotta lock off so that you can dodge out of the way of things, because otherwise your character is just going to dodge in a cardinal direction and eat the move anyways. And they added 8-way rolling to Demon Souls in the remake, and that is such a huge change, and you would think it would be such a small one, you know? The thing, it's interesting to go back and play, because for those who aren't aware, like, there's several much deeper videos that are probably more factually correct than what I'm about to say that you can look up about this. But Demon Souls, the essence of Demon Souls is that Sony commissioned FromSoft at first to make a ripoff of Oblivion. That's what they wanted. Because of, like, even back then, Bethesda tended to favor Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
And so they contracted FromSoft to make a ripoff of Oblivion, and development was just a complete clusterfuck. And they wasted money, they wasted time. The director of the game got fucking sacked. And they called in Miyazaki, who Hidetaka Miyazaki, I think his full name is, who at that time was like just this unproven guy that had worked on like one Armored Core game, and that was it. And they just told him, hey, rookie, we're giving you the fucking shit pit project that no one in the office likes and we all agree is a mess. Good luck, asshole. And Miyazaki determined, okay, well, clearly this thing isn't going to be a fucking AAA gold star masterpiece. I don't have the budget or the time to do that. And by this point, Sony already knows this thing is a trash fire, so they don't care anymore. I'm just going to make whatever game I want to. Because fuck it. If I fuck it up, it was a trash fire to begin with. I can't go down from here, you know? So rather than doing things better, he tried to do things different. And it worked out. It worked out pretty well. Started a very multi-million-dollar franchise. Or maybe it's multi-billion. I can't keep track at this point. But you can kind of tell that there are still some origins in that it was at some point trying to be an Oblivion ripoff, because it is the only Souls game in the entire series that has max carry limit. It's one of the game's few major flaws, but oh boy does it get annoying. And it's something you have to get used to versus Dark Souls, because Dark Souls, you'll be carrying an entire goddamn armory on your back, and so if you see something ahead that's like, oh, I'm gonna need this tool, well, you just open up your inventory and you go fish it out. Demon Souls, you're like, oh, I'm gonna need this. Time for me to go back to the fucking hub level to go get it out of storage. Ugh. The remake at least improved things one way that's very good, which is in the original Demon Souls, if you had max carry weight, you couldn't pick things up. And this was a problem because there are several armor sets in the game that have absurdly high carry weight to try and make up for how ridiculously high their defensive values are. So, if you run into those items, those particular armor sets, while you are carrying pretty well anything, get fucked. The remake added a button whenever you pick items up for, just teleport this directly into my storage, please. So you don't have to do that anymore, and that's really nice. The other thing that's really archaic about Demon Souls is weapon upgrading is a big part of the Souls games. And the simplicity versus complexity of weapon upgrading varies from game to game. Bloodborne is as simple as it gets. Bloodborne, you have bloodstones, you upgrade your weapon with bloodstones, congrats, that's it. That's it. The Dark Souls games, there's Titanite that you use to upgrade the weapon to a certain point, and there's also certain materials you can find that will allow you to change the weapon into a different type. Like, all weapons just get upgraded with Titanite, except for, like, the super rare boss weapons need... I forget what you use to upgrade the boss weapons. But other than that, like, pretty much every other weapon you upgrade with Titanite. And Titanite is a fairly common thing to find. Bloodstone was also a very common thing to find. In Bloodborne, like, Bloodstone was just something you picked up off... Like, there were just a lot of enemies who dropped Bloodstones. And a lot of them were really easy to farm. Dirt easy to farm. Dark Souls, Titanite drops from several enemies. There are several reliable sources. There are several merchants that sell Titanite. There's like one ultra rare version of Titanite that you only get one of per run in Dark Souls 1 and 3. In Dark Souls 2, it rains from the fucking skies. But that's a whole nother thing. And the Titanite you use to make the weapon better, and there's one material you use to make it different. It's like, oh, hey, here's the, I don't know, sharp stone that you use. When you apply it to a weapon, it makes it where the weapon scales with dexterity, even if it's something that, logically speaking, should scale with strength, like, say, a gigantic fucking greatsword. Suddenly, it's now a dexterity weapon instead of a strength weapon. You still need a certain strength minimum to carry it, but, you know, and so on. And like, there's one that's holy stones to make it scale with faith and do holy damage, right? That's fairly simple stuff, right? You know, it makes sense. Then Demon Souls, no. There's Hardstone, but that's only used to upgrade the weapon along the regular path. The default path for that weapon. And then there's various kinds of Sharpstone, if you want to upgrade it down the dexterity path. There's various kinds of Faint Stone, if you want to upgrade it down the raw path. Various kinds of Faith Stone, if you want to upgrade it down the holy path. Mercury Stone, if you want to upgrade it down the magic path. There's all these different kinds of upgrade materials that you just cannot keep track of, and the majority of them are going to be entirely irrelevant for you because it's an RPG. You're building a character on a certain stat. I built my character on strength and faith, so stuff like Sharpstone and Mercury Stone, which were for magic or dexterity, were just completely irrelevant for me. And I just couldn't keep track of the shit. And sometimes I'd be hunting after big, that item there, that looks like it's gonna be super valuable, and I go and get it, and it's like a big Mercury Stone, and it's like, wow, this is fucking useless. Thanks, game! Oh, man. And the real problem is that in the Dark Souls games and the Bloodborne games, weapon upgrade materials are, except for the ultra rare stuff, like Blood Rocks and Titanite Rocks, every other type of upgrade material is, what's the term? Not replicatable, but what's the term for, like trees? You know, you get saplings from a tree, you grow a new tree, you chop down the tree, you get saplings from a tree, you can grow a new tree, right?
They're sustainable.
Sustainable, yes. In all the Dark Souls games, all upgrade materials are sustainable. There is a hypothetically infinite amount. You just have to kill the right guys or buy from the right merchants, right?
Right.
In Demon Souls, no. The most basic small forms of the upgrade materials are sustainable, though they're almost always in really specific, complex ways to get them. Hardstone and Sharpstone you can buy from a merchant, and those are the most merciful. Thank God for people who are building strength or dexterity. But the other types are from really specific situations where you need to kill this one rare enemy type in this one part of the level that's usually hard to get to, and he only has a fucking 2% chance of dropping the damn thing. And it's like, what the fuck? Why? The only real way to get the rocks is from crystal lizards. Crystal lizards are a series-wide trend. They weren't in Bloodborne, and I don't think they're in Sekiro, but they are very much in Dark Souls, and they're very much in Demon Souls. In Dark Souls, crystal lizards are a type of NPC enemy that runs away from you, and if it gets a sufficient distance away from you, it will teleport away, or it'll try to kill itself by launching itself off a ledge. And the way it works is that you just keep reloading the level again and again until you can finally kill it, until you finally figure out the way to trick it and kill it. Or just kill it before it can get its run started, right? And once you kill it, it doesn't respawn. But when you kill it, it drops a big cache of, really nice loot. Sometimes they drop upgrade materials, sometimes they drop exclusive weapons or armor, sometimes they drop items. It's really cool. And you can always fuck up and just come back later and try again, right? They'll keep respawning until you get the item, the loot from them. Demon Souls don't do that. In Demon Souls, a crystal lizard will respawn 3 times, no matter how it died. If it successfully got away and killed itself or teleported away, that burns a respawn. If you killed it, that burns a respawn. Now, if you really stay on top of it and know where all the crystal lizards are, technically this is a better arrangement for you than Dark Souls because you get 3 drops of the loot instead of 1. However, for anyone who is actually new to the game, this is much, much worse because you're going to burn at least 1 respawn for the majority of crystal lizards because they're going to go and kill themselves or teleport away. And the crystal lizards in Demon Souls are the #1 source for upgrade materials.
Lovely.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, there's such an excess of upgrade materials dropped from most of them that you are probably going to upgrade 1 weapon to max level by the time you get to the end of the game. But boy, is it not beginner friendly. And that's one thing I want to say about Demon Souls, is Demon Souls is very much the least beginner friendly game out of the series. It's a Souls trend to only explain controls and some of the basic mechanics, but not explain what any of the stats do or any of that. And in some cases they do that deliberately because it's part of the plot. Bloodborne keeps away from explaining what insight is to you because it's kind of part of the plot what insight is, and it's kind of spoiling what a rather important bit of what happens with insight. But with Demon Souls, there's no such justification. Actually, the stats are actually fairly explained. That's the one part that they actually do kind of explain properly. It's on its face, it is what it is. But some of the systems they very much do not explain. And the big one is world tendency. So I knew I was in trouble ahead of Demon Souls, because generally speaking with Souls, anytime the game doesn't explain something, you can just pull up the wiki, and the wiki will explain it in detail and explain every bit of like the stat scaling associated with it and all the math and numbers, every bit you want to know. And I knew I was in trouble, because with Demon Souls, I was like, what the fuck is world tendency? This was before the game came out, I should know. The remake came out, back when it was just the original. I was watching like a playthrough of Demon Souls, and I was like, what the fuck is world tendency? I need to know. And I pulled up the wiki, and the wiki's answer for world tendency was pretty well, we don't fucking know. The gist of it was, okay, you can do things, your actions will have effects on the world tendency, and if the world tendency might unlock things. We don't know what you can do to change world tendency, we don't know how much your actions change world tendency, and we don't know what the thresholds are to unlock the things with world tendency. All we know is it's a thing that changes with player action. And that it unlocks things. And it's like, well, fucking great, thanks for the information. Yeah, that told me a lot. Video games, you do things and they have effects. No shit. Thankfully, when the remake came out, they were able to put it down to more of a science, partly because there were way more people playing the game, because the original Demon Souls was kind of a cult thing, and also partly because they made a rather big change to how the mechanics of world tendency work. See, world tendency is affected by you doing a very, very limited select pool of actions. World tendency starts off at, let's say, gray, and it can turn either black or white depending on your actions. Some actions push it towards white and out of black. Some actions do the opposite. If you kill NPCs, if you kill friendly NPCs, well, no, even if you kill some enemy NPCs, if you kill human beings who still have their sanity and their soul, that moves you toward black world tendency. If you restore your body and then die, that moves it towards black tendency. I'll talk about that in a moment, what I mean by restore your body. If you kill a boss, that moves toward white tendency. If you kill another player invading your world, that moves it towards white tendency. Once you move to pure white or pure black, which is like 90% on the scale, then it will unlock something on the map. There will be one thing that will be unlocked no matter which tendency, just as long as you moved it to the extreme of either side of the scale. And there's an NPC in the map who will behave differently depending on whether you moved it to pure white or pure black. If you moved it toward pure white, they'll probably be friendly, though it's not guaranteed. There are one or two NPCs who will be aggressive at pure white. And if you moved it towards pure black, then it's 100% guaranteed they're going to be aggressive. And they have exclusive loot either which way, right? So there's an encouragement to try and... Well, there's a reward for doing it either which way, and if you're a fan of cheesing, then there's also an encouragement to move it towards both sides of the scale so you can do a 100% completionist run. Which I was crazy enough to try, and I gave up on eventually, because fuck that tendency system. The world tendency system. So here's the big problem. White tendency is not sustainable. The things you can do to move it towards white tendency are kill bosses who do not respawn because they're bosses, or kill invaders. But in order to be invaded, you have to be in body form, not soul form. And if you die in body form, it moves it towards black. And the amount it moves towards black is equivalent to how much it would move towards white if you killed an invader. And the game cannot control how strong the invader is, how smart the invader is, how skilled the invader is. So it's a complete crapshoot. And if you're someone who has not invested time into learning Dark Souls PvP, like I haven't, then you are probably not going to be able to win many matchups. Because there are a lot of people who take Souls PvP very seriously and view it as kind of a fighting game. And I am not going to be able to keep up with that. And Demon Souls has some bull fucking shit PvP strats that are absolute nonsense. Like the scraping spear if they hit you 2 times with a scraping spear, it breaks every item you have equipped.
What?
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Uh-huh. And if an item gets broken, it forcibly gets unequipped. And you can't re-equip it. Your weapons, your armor, everything.
Wow.
So, White Tendency, if you want to get the White Tendency stuff, never play the levels in body form. The instant you get forcibly put into body form, go back to the hub level and kill yourself. And then come back to the level. And I was smart enough to do that on 4 out of the 5 worlds. But there was one world I did not realize that was a mechanic, and I died in body form twice in that world, and that was enough to lock me into, or lock me out of White Tendency. That sucked.
Yeah, I believe it.
But here's the crazy thing. The World Tendency system used to be worse in the original version.
Unbelievable.
In the original version, everyone shared World Tendency. Everyone's world tendencies were connected. So whether or not you got to see the world tendency content was entirely dependent on the actions of the entire Demon Souls player base. So if you played the original Demon Souls, there's a very good motivation to set the game mode to offline. Thankfully, with PS5 Demon Souls, they were smart enough to set it where even if you're playing online, your world tendency is not affected by other players, outside of invasions. Okay, with that all out of the way, let me talk about the body and soul system. So, the body system, soul system, whatever you want to call it, works on the basis of you start out the game in body form. If you die, you get moved into soul form. While you're in soul form, you have 50% of your health max. However, there is a ring you find pretty well as soon as the game starts called the Cling Ring. As long as you have it equipped, you get 75% health while in soul form, which is very nice. And from there, your health can also differ in soul form based upon your world tendency and your character tendency, I believe. And the better of a person you are, the more health you get. But also you get worse loot, and inversely with black tendency, right? Which is a neat idea. That's a neat idea, right? If you're gonna be an aggressive dick and go around invading people and killing the NPCs, then yeah, probably like it makes more sense that you are also a hardcore player who wants things to be a little bit harder but get bigger rewards, right?
Yeah.
This does create a problem, though, because one of the, like I said, I forgot to mention, yeah, that there's also character tendency that's separate from world tendency that is affected by the same things. You know, killing bosses moves you up, killing people moves you down, dying in human form, dying in body form moves you down, but it's also affected by invasions. If you invade people and go dicking around killing other players, then that will also move you down. Which, yeah, of course, going around invading other players' worlds and killing them does make you, like, a bad person.
Just a little bit.
So, you know, it stands to reason, especially if you're, like, a hardcore player who sees fit to invade other people's worlds, then yeah, you probably are good enough at the game that you can probably take it, bucko. But the problem arrives from the fact that if you die in body form, then it moves your world tendency down as well. Now, for people who know about this system, that's not bad, because, like, if you're like me, you know about that system, then you just don't go in body form. You kill yourself in the Nexus as soon as you turn into body form. However, for new players, body form looks like something you should spend all your time in, because it gives you more health. And they don't realize that they're actually making the game harder every time they die in body form. And the game doesn't explain this. The tendency system is deliberately left in the dark. So, yeah, that's really fucking dumb. If you know how the system works, then it's fair, right? Because new players should just stay in soul form. But they don't explain how it works. With that said, it did occur to me last night as I was thinking about this game, I was like, son of a bitch, this game could have stood to have more tutorials. And I was like, hang on, this is a tutorial-less game. How many people do I know who hate tutorials like the plague? Because, Addy, you and I are pretty well the only people I know who will play with a tutorial, and even you tend to prefer to skip it unless it's a genre you don't know very well, right?
It depends. Like, okay. Well, it depends. Because, like, even fighting games, sometimes I do a tutorial because they can differ a lot. I don't do tutorials on the rhythm games because I usually don't need them because I play Mania-style rhythm games. I couldn't play Oz to save my life. I haven't tried it, but I just know. So, yeah. Like, but whenever I try playing a rhythm game, I play it on fucking hard. Because hey, I play fighting games and I like execution, so I kind of have experience.
That never occurred to me. I should try a rhythm game someday just to practice for combos because I suck at execution.
Yeah.
Anyways, Pink, you need to play the Souls games at some point, man, because those games are just straight up like, yeah, fucking go.
There's no story to drag you down either. I mean, there is, but it's only if you want to read.
Yeah,
reading's for nerds.
That's one thing that's put me off of Souls. Honestly, like, I don't know. I like being told stories.
I think a big part of the fun of the Souls games is the story. I like piecing things together and forming headcanons, I guess because I'm a crazy person.
I don't.
Okay, that's fair. What was I going to say? Right. With all that said, as the negatives going against the game, it's a good Souls game. It's short, but the content is fruitful enough that once you finish the game, you're like, all right, let's play through again. It's short but sweet. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And coming from Red Dead Redemption 2 having been the last game I played, it's like, oh, thank God for that,
Yep.
The other Dark Souls games, generally speaking, will take you about 30 hours to run through on your first run through. Demon Souls won't. It'll take you about 10 hours. Which is nice. And I've already started up a second playthrough. I am playing through now with a magic build, which I have never tried a magic build in Souls before, other than like just dicking around with one for like an hour in Dark Souls 2. And I have heard that magic builds are a lot easier in Souls games. Oh boy, are they right. Because a lot of the enemies in these games were designed for melee players, and they are designed to be difficult for melee players. And boy, these enemies cannot keep up with me just shooting fireballs at them from the other side of the map. There is a level in particular, Tower of Latria, that is infamous for a kind of Cthulhu Mind-Eater type enemy that runs around, and he casts magic spells, and he has a very aggressive AoE that will blow your ass off. And he has a fireball he can throw at you that will stun you, and then he comes over and does a command grab on you. He fucking spin pile drivers your ass, except instead of doing that, he eats your brains. And when you're playing as a melee character, oh boy, those enemies are the goddamn worst. Because near everything they do is built to fuck up melee players. Once you play as a magic character, oh, complete farce. And the thing is, the more I play this game, the more I realize that was actually intentional. Because Demon Souls, once you beat the first boss, Phalanx, the game is then, alright, now there's 5 different branches you can go down. Go down whichever one you want, Chief. And so you get the castle world, you get the Storm Island world, you get the underground tunnels world, you get the prison world, and you get the shit town world. And it occurred to me as I was playing through, because I decided, I should go to the prison world first as a mage, because there's a lot of items there that are really good for playing a magic character. I remembered that from my first time playing. And it occurred to me, whoa, this level's way easier for magic-based characters, and also has a lot of loot that's fantastic for magic-based characters and kind of shit for non-magic-based characters, they actually designed this in such a way so that it would encourage magic-based players to go here first. Whereas if I was a melee-based character, the worlds that were best to go to first were the castle and the Island of Storms. They gave a lot better loot, and they were much easier on melee players. So they just straight up designed it like that, and that's kind of weird, but interesting. And the other really interesting part is that since you are given free reign to just go all over to any of those levels from the beginning, the instant you start any run in Demon Souls, there is a really fascinating freedom there of, well, what loot do I want to go for first? What bosses do I think I can beat already? You know, what enemies do I think I can beat already? And it is really interesting just planning out your run from there. It's almost kind of like Hades in a way, you know, where you're shooting for something, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying out new moves and new weapons and new spells as you go. It's really cool. I like it. I'm definitely more curious to try out other styles whenever I get this magic run done. I did just going ahead dicking around with the character creation system, because the character creation system in this game is fucking fantastic, by the way. Ordinarily, Souls character creators are absolutely awful, and Addy can also speak from experience here. But he did.
But he won't.
Yeah. But Demon Souls, it being made by Bluepoint instead of FromSoft, has a fantastic character creator, and I just wanted to mess around with the character creator, so I went in and I made the Iron Sheik.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And the game lets you dual wield clubs.
Even better.
So I am just running around as a shirtless Iron Sheik dual wielding clubs on that playthrough. It's awesome. I'm really excited to keep playing with the game. It seems like one I'll play through a lot. Is there anything else? No, I don't think there is. Alright, so that's my 2 weeks, which is why it took so fucking long. Holy Jesus. And I believe we can call that a bye. Later, fuckers.